Hello and welcome! It is Team Modern Super League time once again. I'm Randy Bueller. I'm joined by Autumn Burchett. Welcome!
Hey, it's great to be here. I'm excited to be on the free show too. Should be a lot of fun.
This should be a good show. You guys are battling for a playoff spot. Is that something you're trying to accomplish here? You want to keep playing?
I would very much like to keep playing.
I mean, it seems like you've been crushing everything you've played lately, so...
Mm-hmm.
Now, yeah. So what was the tournament last week? There's some sort of like bragging rights amongst European countries kind of a thing?
It was a bit silly. It was lots of fun though. It was called the Celebrity Cup.
Celebrity Cup, right. That was it.
So the idea was there was each country had a group of 6 like Magic personalities, like whether they be pro players like me or Raphael Levy, or I believe they had a French MPL player as Dredge as part of it too.
Oh, sure.
Or also a lot of like personalities like Pleasant Kenobi and people like that were involved too. They were referred to as like the experts. And then we had the celebrities, which were like YouTube personalities with generally much bigger followings than any of us had.
Of course.
And the idea was all the YouTube personalities hadn't had experience playing Magic before.
Okay.
And we had a couple weeks to help teach them on stream and get them like up to date. And we'd build decks for them to play in the tournament. And then we'd kind of compete side by side where like they would make most of the plays, but we'd give them advice as the games were going on and kind of coach them during the games.
That sounds fun.
It was a lot of fun.
And England was victorious.
Yes. It was actually really funny. There was a slight miscommunication, I guess, where all the English teams were told that for the day 2 decks to register something fun, focus on it being entertaining, use lots of new cards.
Okay.
Don't make it like a meta deck. So I registered like a silly favorable wins deck. And then the German and French groups did not get this message properly.
And you beat them anyway?
Yeah.
Nice.
We beat like Esper Hero and Sultai mid-range and stuff with our like derpy favorable wins deck, just turning our Healer's Hawks sideways.
I believe the word justice seems called for here.
It was nice.
That's fun. Meanwhile, I'm sure you're deep into MC Barcelona prep at this point. That's a huge tournament coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend.
Yeah.
What's your process been like for that?
So I haven't actually been able to start until the last week or so because of like the MC in Vegas and then a bunch of other commitments. I've been working with Emma Handy and Sam Black. So we've all just been communicating with each other about what we're all doing and trying to keep each other in the loop.
It's a good squad.
We've done some stuff together. We've done like a bunch of stuff apart. It's been a lot of fun. Feel like making good progress, kind of figuring out the sort of stuff I like and dislike in the format, which is nice. I'm feeling like very confident about Limited, but Modern is still a bit up in the air and figuring things out.
It feels like a wild, wild west. I mean, I want to call it a Pro Tour, right? It's what used to be called a Pro Tour. There have been some of those throughout the years where just anything could happen, right? Yeah. It could be, Eldrazi Winter or, Academy are the ones that come to mind for me. Where, I mean, yeah, sure. They didn't ban Hogaak. They banned Bridge from Below. Mm-hmm. But they're still between the London Mulligan, Modern Horizons, all the Planeswalkers. It feels like some team could legitimately just break the tournament and show up with an insane deck that nobody's expecting.
I agree with that assessment completely. It's actually really exciting.
I agree completely. I am definitely looking forward to watching and seeing what's happening. It could be wild. Do you have a read? You sound like you're not confident you understand what's going on yet, or
I'm still kind of piecing it together. I think the Hogaak deck has looked really impressive still when I've played against it.
Okay.
Even despite losing Bridge from Below, sure. But the exact way to build it, no one's like sure exactly how.
Yeah.
So if there's a breaking point, that's definitely one of the potential ones.
Okay. I actually really like that ban as sort of the bare minimum necessary to then find out, okay, what did Modern Horizons, London Mulligan, what did all this stuff actually do to the format? They sort of, nerfed the one obviously broken thing. Doesn't mean they've solved their problem, but it means we don't know what's going to happen going into the MC, which I think is where you kind of want to be.
It reminds me a lot of the ban in Eldrazi Winter, where they hit Ayavugan because they wanted to hit like the least impactful thing they could get away with and still have like the Eldrazi decks be a thing and still have Modern kind of keep churning.
Fair. Yeah, well, we got plenty of Modern queued up for tonight. If you've been with us all along, this is now the final week of the regular season. So the 2-0 teams, we know who those are. They're through to the top 4. We've got 3 1-1 teams. We need a 4th, and it is going to be tonight's winner. It's either going to be Autumn's team, the Scary Pterrys, or it's going to be the Stream team. One of them is actually going to come back 2 weeks from tonight. The playoff matchup against the Brew Crew is tonight's winner versus the Brew Crew in 2 weeks. And yeah, that does mean there's no show next week. So, we've traditionally taken off the week of the Pro Tour. We are taking next Tuesday off. So no Super League in 7 days, 14 days though. Yeah, Brew Crew versus tonight's winner. I don't know. I would think, I don't know, that should be a fun pairing however it turns out. I feel like we've got this sort of, a little more spiky pros in the other 1-on-1 battle. Mage Market versus Channel Fireball is what's coming up the week after. But I don't know. It's also going to be coming right off the heels of Barcelona.
Lots of exciting new decks potentially being registered last minute for that one, based on what's at the MC.
Definitely. Yeah, we've got the full playoff schedule worked out, by the way. We had it on stream at the beginning. I don't know, maybe we can throw that up if we get a chance. The other interesting thing going on in the playoffs is that last match. Those are the 2 4-0 teams, and it turns out both Pomplamoose, which is the redo Gab Nassif, Logan Nettles team, and the Bash Brothers had conflicts on August 13th. So the only way to make the top 4 work was actually to pair them against each other. Wouldn't normally pair the 2 4-0s, but neither one of them could make the 13th. So this is we're here now, and it means that on August the 13th, it'll be the 2 winners of those play-in matches, those quarterfinal matchups. And then the finals, obviously, August 27th, will play off the winners of those top 4 matchups. So that is what the rest of the season is going to look like. 5 weeks left, 5 matchups left after tonight. I don't know. All of these matchups are good. I've been really enjoying this season. It feels like we've got good teams sort of up and down the roster. So
the season's been a blast so far. I haven't been able to watch much of it live, but I've gone back and rewatched a lot.
Yeah, that tends to be the typical European answer. I mean, you are in home in England now, right?
Yes, I am. I'm currently in my bedroom.
Yeah, I guess when you're forced to play, those are the nights you stay up for the live show. But yeah, I definitely know a bunch of European viewers. We're kind of waiting for the YouTube video to go up. So first match tonight, we actually have one substitute player. I don't know if we may have seen this on Twitter, but Megan Wolf couldn't make tonight's show. So you guys are subbing in Chantel Campbell.
Yep.
Who seems really excited to get the chance to play on Super League, which is kind of awesome.
She's also just great as well.
Fair.
She is the host of Proven Combatants podcast, which I used to be a regular member of. I had to step down a bit because I've just been so overwhelmed with commitments, but the podcast she puts together is really good. She does a bunch of streaming. She competes in tons of GPs, and getting to have her on here is really exciting.
She will be up against April King in this first match. April, to the surprise of probably no one who follows her, is going to be running Tron. Chantel with a Dredge deck in her hands. Now, you guys did an interesting thing in bringing both Dredge and also a Hogaak deck. They only overlap by 12 cards. They're both perfectly legal. They do overlap by fully 12 cards. What's the thinking there in terms of the slate of decks you've brought?
So we really wanted to bring a Hogaak deck because I've played a bit of it. I was really enjoying it. Emma's been really enjoying it. We were like, this is really cool. It's also an exciting deck in terms of just playing new cards. Obviously, it's been around a little while now, but it was hit by a ban, so people are trying to figure it out. So, and then I was talking to Chantal and was like, okay, what decks do you really want to bring? And she suggested Dredge. I was like, literally all three of us just love playing Dredge because it's one of my favorite decks to play.
Wow.
And I know Emma is a big fan of it too. Both of us played it at the SCG Invitational about a month back as our modern deck of choice. So Dredge just made like perfect sense as a deck that like we could have multiple people play pretty easily and have it be like a nice overlap.
Yeah, it's funny. You've got that match 6 slot, which is often the place where if a team is going to have, one person specialize and only play, have both of their appearance be them playing the same single deck, which is, MTG Nurgle will be playing Burn in both of her appearances tonight, for example. But you guys are like, no, it's Emma's turn to play Dredge. We'll run the Dredge deck twice, but 2 different pilots.
Should be really exciting. I personally love Dredge. I think it's just a blast to play. It's like a very different way of approaching Magic. It like forces you to exercise all sorts of like parts of your brain that you don't have to use normally. So,
agreed. How do you feel about the Tron matchup here?
So the Tron matchup's interesting. It's changed a lot over the last year. If you'd asked me a year ago, I would say Tron is a pretty big favorite.
Okay.
Because it was very good at like taking a few early hits off the creatures, but then stabilizing with an Ugin or a Wormcoil to take over the game. And then Dredge just struggled to get through fast enough. With the printing of Creeping Chill, it really swung the matchup because suddenly Dredge had this burn plan where like even if you get down an Ugin and sweep my board, as long as I got in like that one early hit, I'm just going to burn you out with Creeping Chills. Okay. I've not played the matchup much since Khan the Great Creator was printed, but the impression I've got is that that card has done a lot for swinging the matchup a bit back in the direction of Tron, just because it means you have these cards in your deck that now you can go grab a Relic of Progenitus or a Grafdigger's Cage. And that's just a really, when your threats are also acting as graveyard hate in that way, that's a really swingy, powerful thing to have access to. So I don't know exactly whose favor the matchup is in now, but there's like a lot of interesting dynamics that are going on.
That makes sense. Yeah, I know the April does certainly have the whole Karn board, right? She's got access to a Relic of Progenitus. She's got an Ensnaring Bridge, a Grafdigger's Cage. The whole Mycosynth Lattice lock, which I guess that doesn't actually lock Creeping Chill, right? You can still Dredge. So perhaps not quite as game over as it might be, but then Witchbane Orb can make her untargetable. Trinisphere.
So one of the really cool things, I believe this works this way, is that if you grab your relic with the Khan and exile it, you can then just like keep grabbing the relic with the Khan and reusing it, which is just like really brutal. So it's you kind of almost don't need the lattice lock because you just have the relic lock after a point.
Is that how it works?
Someone told me that was how it works.
I got confused because I know that, like, way back in the day when Wish boards were a thing for the very first time, right? There was Cutting Wish. And, the Psychotog deck could exile cards by eating them out of the graveyard and get them into exile, and then you could go Cunning Wish, and you could actually set up loops, in theory, which worked in, like, this, I'm talking about, like, the mid-2000s, right? There was a Worlds in Berlin where it worked, but then it didn't work, and they got it to where you could only wish cards out of the sideboard, not exile. Did they change it back again?
Khan, apparently, according to chat, says from exile specifically, so you can grab it from either.
It's a different template than the wishes.
So once you grab that first relic, you just...
Got it. Yeah, the wish template, that's what's going on. I mean, apologies for being the old man here. I'm remembering wish templates from 15 years ago, but the wish template was from outside the game. Right? I mean, I was on the R&D side when we first printed those cards. I remember it was a super cool cycle. But yeah, we wound up templating it as get a card from outside the game, knowing that in tournament play, that would mean the sideboard. But then, in casual kitchen table, whatever, go pull your binder off the bookshelf and go nuts. So outside the game is different. It's a different template. If Karn is getting from exile, then relic, all the relics you could want. Cool. That does seem like a legitimately relevant interaction in this match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, if Karn comes up, that feels like a thing that's going to happen.
If you can stabilize yourself from the creatures, then Karn can kind of deal with everything else. Because you can just, nab those creeping shells with the triggers on the stack.
Wow. Sure. Makes sense. Yeah, that is the matchup we should have up first. I haven't heard an update. I know that... I'm sure we're getting that match set up as quickly as we can. I know the timing was going to be tight for her with,
no worries.
Childcare obligations. No big deal. Second up is Emma Handy against Jessica Estefan.
Mm-hmm.
The two of them were definitely going at it on Twitter today, which was kind of fun to watch. And then, of course, we get to be in the booth together after they battle, battling with Hogaak Returns and Phoenix, which seems to be Jess's go-to modern deck of choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know exactly how that matchup goes. I assume a fast Hogaak must be pretty scary for the Phoenix deck.
I mean, does anybody know how the Hogaak deck works without Bridge from Below? I feel like you're just using us as your lab experiment here. We're just all guinea pigs as you test for the MC.
Pretty much. That's the intent. So the Hogaak deck is still, even without Bridge. So the thing is, losing Bridge loses you the alter plan. So you do just have to kill via combat damage.
Sure.
But that doesn't change the fact you can still just make turn 2 Hogaaks, fairly reliably, and make, a Vengevine or 2 on turn 2 some amount of the time too.
So the new cards, it's -4 Bridge, -4 Altar of Dementia from the decks we were seeing a couple of weeks ago. Hedron Crab is new, right? And what's the other new card? Prized Amalgam. Okay.
And Crypt Breaker too. Crypt Breaker helps up your 1-drop count.
Okay.
For the Vengevines. People are in 2 different directions. There are some people who are playing Hedron Crab because it mills you really aggressively and it's a 1-drop from Vengevine.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some people who are playing Satyr Wayfinder, which makes your mana base a lot better. You don't have to play blue mana in otherwise your kind of Jund deck.
Right.
But it's also a lot slower because it can't really help return Vengevine very well on turn 2.
Interesting.
So we are trying out the blue version, mainly because it's sweet. You get the really explosive draws, which is very exciting. The turns where you go turn 1 Crab, turn 2 Fetch, mill myself 6, and then cast another couple other things can be really terrifying. But the jury's still out on what's the right way to build this deck.
Yeah, that all makes sense. Yeah, Satyr Wayfinder, I see what you mean. It's fits the colors better. It's certainly a powerful magic card, but this is the more explosive version of the deck.
The other thing Satyr Wayfinder does is, so Hedron Crab is more explosive, but it can't. It doesn't make colored mana for the sake of Hogaak, whereas Satyr Wayfinder, being a green creature, can help convoke out your Hogaak, which is very relevant.
Sort of doubly helping the colored mana, huh?
So there's a lot of different tensions people are trying to figure out.
I like it. I'm interested to see it in action. That's like I said, that'll be up for the second match, and then match number 3 is when you finally get to take the battlefield.
I'm excited for this one.
Jund versus Burn. This feels like we could have played this match 3-4 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least archetype wise.
It's very exciting. I used to be a big fan of Jund a few years ago. It was my main modern deck for several months, and then after Eldrazi Winter, it just felt like the format was progressively getting more and more powerful and faster, and Jund didn't cut it anymore. And the printing of Renin 6 has been just so impactful on the deck for a bunch of different reasons. It like replaces Dark Confidant, which is really huge because Dark Confidant is just not really a playable card in Modern anymore. Just when the format's going so fast, you can't afford to sit there taking all that damage. And like we have all these people throwing like lava darts and stuff around, and gut shots that just make a 2-1 look really embarrassing.
Sure. All right, sounds like we have our first match. Stick around for round 3 if you want to watch Renin 6 and Jund in action. But here comes Dredge versus Tron.
Awesome.
April King on the top of your screen. I see a tower. I see a mine. I see a power plant. That is natural Tron, but nothing to do with it yet.
Yeah, Oblivion Stone is not one of the payoffs you're excited about in this matchup. There are matchups where you're very keen on it, but the Dredge deck's just going to return all its creatures from the graveyard all over again. All
right, how is Chantel's draw?
It's medium. It's got a land, a looting, a dredger that you can pitch.
Sure, so you're keeping, I guess.
Yes, you can get your engine online. The concern is, like, obviously the chills and the Narcomoeba, you really want them in the deck. And Dredge really needs a second land to operate properly. So you're kind of hoping you can hit that off this looting. But I think it's probably a keep. It's just like on the low end of keeps.
There's a second land. There's also a second Faithless Looting.
Perfect. You couldn't have drawn that up better. The second looting's really impactful because it means that now next turn, Chantal's immediately going to start like turbo powering through those dredges. Just like getting the extra 2 draws immediately rather than having to do it the slow way around is going to be really impactful here.
All right. Draw step, Dredges the Stinkweed Imp, looks like a Bloodghast.
Ooh, and there's a Hogaak.
Conflagrate and a Hogaak.
So if she can find another Bloodghast off this looting, she'll get to return a Hogaak this turn.
Plays the Copperline Gorge. So here's the first Bloodghast. Oh, should she have looting first?
Probably. She may be planning on... No, she is doing... Yeah, she should have looting first in case she dredges into another Bloodghast.
Sure.
Or a prized amalgam. Alright.
And a creeping
so we
chill.
hit a creeping chill, which is great. Helps speed up the clock a bit.
It doesn't look like a ton else. There's the Stinkweed Imp. But that was just the... Was that the first one? Yeah, okay, there's the Stinkweed. She did hit the Bloodghast. Wow, so if she had... if she'd not played her land yet, Hogaak would be coming out, huh?
Still looks like she's in a very good position there. Next turn, she's going to get to loam, get back a couple lands, and then use a land to return this Bloodghast, get the Hogaak in play. Just have a really impressive clock.
Can April find the payoff? No. More land searching. Expedition map, Sylvan Scrying. Those are normally good cards for the Tron deck, but that's not when you draw natural Tron.
All this mana and not much to do with it.
She doesn't even have a land that can do much, right? There's no...
Yeah, some people have like Horizon Canopies or stuff like that they can cycle, which she isn't playing. Personally, I've never been a big fan of Horizon Canopy in Tron. But...
Yeah, she's got a Blast Zone, a Ghost Quarter, and a Sanctum of Vukin for her utility lands.
Yeah, she's just struggling to find some action here. The Oblivion Stone will like act as kind of a fog against the creatures, which is relevant. If she doesn't take too much more damage by that point. The fact that it's actually really good for April that Chantal has 2 Creeping Chills in her hand, because a big part of the threat here is like you can Oblivion Stone to sweep the board, but then maybe the Bloodghasts come back with haste at some point. Whereas the Creeping Chills having been drawn means it's going to be hard to get April below 10 like that for the haste.
Wait, Chantel had an extra green mana left over last turn, right?
Hogaak, you cannot cast with mana.
Oh, well, of course. Being an idiot.
That's why the card's fair and balanced.
Of course. I just saw a Bloodghast tap and was trying to sort through what was going on here.
Mm-hmm.
She does not have the land yet. Light from the Loam can get her the lands she needs to trigger the Bloodghast, right? That's the line here.
Mm-hmm. So she needs to return 3 lands, get back the Bloodghast, and then that's going to let her convoke out this Hogaak and just like force April to use this Oblivion Stone. April really wants to go find another tower. The reason for that is a big part of what April is looking to do here is draw a Relic, and then you can play Relic, play Oblivion Stone, activate Relic, and then crack O-Stone with the activation on the stack to just get rid of all the creatures from the yard when they die.
Second Bloodghast and a prized Amalgam have made it into Chantel's graveyard.
Mm-hmm. Now we see the Hogaak return from the yard. And it's going to be a pretty impressive threat here.
She going to have 17 power? 2, 4, 6, 14. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
17.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, second prize Amalgam. 20. Oof. Nice even one-shot kill.
Casual 20 power on turn 3. Nothing wrong here.
Look, it is slower than the previous version of this deck.
Mm-hmm.
Sanctum of Ugin is what April got, not another tower. Mm-hmm. All right, is Chromatic Sphere going to find anything? Clearly, April needs to pop Oblivion Stone. She's just dead to the board. She does have enough spare mana that she can cycle a Chromatic Sphere if she wants to.
Yeah. Does she have an Ugin in her deck? The big Ugin?
Yeah, she's got like 6 Ugins.
She has 2 of the big ones.
8 Karns, 3 Ugins, 2 Spirit Dragons, an Ineffable, and then an Ulamog as well.
I think in April's position, I'd have kind of liked cycling through the sphere with like the mana you're going to use to cast the O-Stone anyway to see if you can get that Ugin. Because exiling this board would have just been backbreaking. I don't think that's something like Chantel would have really struggled to come back from having this many of the recursive creatures exiled by an Ugin. Alright, so the board's going to be cleared. April gets another turn.
She found an Ancient Stirrings was the sphere card.
Mm-hmm. This is an interesting position. You can return the Bloodghasts now to get the whole board back and make a Hogaak. That runs face first into Ugin. Or you can do it on your opponent's turn, in which case you just don't get enough power to kill in one turn, but you have the Conflagrate to help back you up.
Interesting. The point being, Chantel can use the fetch land to get the Bloodghasts during April's end step.
And then,
I guess you have to do it second main if you want the Amalgams.
Mm-hmm. But by that point, you'd know if April has that Ugin.
I mean, probably. Be the best slow roll ever, right?
It's kind of tough. Like, I guess doing it this way helps play around a card like Wormcoil, or even a Karn grabbing a Relic. So I actually like that she's doing it in her turn rather than getting fancy by playing around the Ugin. But obviously, this does make the Ugin very scary. I think this plays around a lot more things, though. Just like making sure you have enough power that you can actually.
You also know April did not have that Ugin last turn.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
April spent her last turn doing nothing but sweeping the board with an O-Stone.
Yeah.
So fine. You're talking about, one sphere card.
And if she'd had a Karn the Great Creator, she wouldn't have had time to cast it last turn as well.
Good point. Although she would have the turn before if it was already there. Ancient Stirrings. Mm-hmm. April's like, come on, deck. Oh, there is Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Second ability, -X, exile each permanent with converted mana cost X or less. That's 1 or more colors.
So the one good thing here is Hogaak costs 7 mana. Right. One good thing for us anyway. So Ugin's going to have the -7. The Ugin's going to be gone. Which does mean April's back into a position of not having a threat.
Is there any possibility? Okay, she does go for 7.
Yeah, there's a the problem is the conflagrate in the yard. If April gets rid of everything but the Hogaak, she's going to go down to 9, and then the conflagrate can actually deal lethal next turn in combination with a dredged life from the loam.
Sure.
So this is just like forced with the face-up information.
Now, Chantel needs to rebuild her graveyard, huh?
Needs to get something going here. Basically needs to get through enough chip shots that a conflagrate can kill. Or she can try and conflagrate twice over the next 2 turns. How does that work? She's 8 in hand, she can go up to 10. Conflagrate for 10. Then it would take like 2 more turns to rebuild for the second conflagrate. Although she also has creeping chills that she can cast. That's probably
not many.
Yeah, she has them in her hand.
Does she have... Oh, okay. The Blood Crypt, of course. Time to hard cast Creeping Chill. Hilarious.
So this actually works out pretty similarly. It's like a 3-turn clock regardless of whether she tries the double conflagrate or goes for double chill plus conflagrate.
Sure.
So this makes a lot of sense. And we know she just doesn't have many recursive creatures left in her deck anymore.
No.
So like trying to aggressively dredge just doesn't achieve that much compared to trying to burn out April.
And that was the one Hogaak, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You only put one Hogaak into this deck?
I think at the moment she has like a Bloodghast, a Narcomoeba, or 2, and like a Prized Amalgam. It's just dredging just doesn't achieve that much for her at this point.
This is a fairly large walking ballista April has come up with.
Right. How big is that going to be? I guess we'll find out in a sec, but...
It doesn't do anything. I mean, Creeping Chill and Conflagrate still seem like they erase it. I think it's 5/5. Oh, it does trigger the Sanctum of Ugin. That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, and an Ulamog like maybe cuts into Chantal's mana enough, maybe.
Wormcoil Legend is April's decision. She wants some lifelink to get out of Conflagrate range.
Makes a lot of sense, but
I didn't feel like Ulamog was going to hit the lands fast enough.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the Wormcoil might not be fast enough either.
Fair.
If
I mean, this turn can be cast Life from the Loam, play a land, cast Creeping Chill, and then kill with Conflagrate next turn.
So, like, maybe race this lifelink at her if all goes well. All right.
What exactly is the Conflagrate math? The flashback is...
It costs 2 to flashback, and then it's number of cards you have in hand. So if Chantel chills April down to 11, then that means Chantel needs 11 cards in her hand to kill.
But Life from the Loam is going to get her to, from 8 to 10, right?
Yeah.
She's literally going to be 1 short?
What she can do, I don't know if she has... What she can do, I don't know if she'll see this, is... Oh no, she's like a couple mana too short to... You can sometimes, when you're in like super late game, set up scenarios where you like faithless looting to get back multiple life from the loams to your hand, so that you can build up your hand enough in 1 turn. But she doesn't have enough mana to achieve that. Maybe she needs to mill the 4th chill to get there.
Oh, there's 1 left, right?
I think so. I think there's the 1 left. And
she's only got 18 cards left in her library. It's not a terrible bet. Like
it's a little
3 or something.
It's a little awkward because she also needs a loam to have enough cards to conflagrate, so might not get to.
Oh, sure. She only gets to dredge 3 with the loam, right? Yeah. Meanwhile, she's not about to die, but 1 hit from that Wormcoil is going to take this Conflagrate plan just out of play.
One hit from the worm coil ends the game.
All right, draw step. She goes for the loam. I did not see a creeping shield trigger.
So I believe what she has to do now is looting on 2 big dredges, hit the chill. Then does she have enough cards in hand? April will be down to 8. She'd have to play a land from her hand, but she'd get to loam. So loam would be like, yeah, if she doesn't even need to cast the loam, right? If she just hits off this looting, because the free damage is going to be enough.
Yeah, then she only needs to deal 8 with the conflict rate.
She just has to. She gets to tip 2/3 of her deck into the graveyard and just has to.
Well, it was thug. I don't think she got there. I didn't see a trigger. 7 cards left.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if she can do this anymore, because the life link from the worm coil is just going to be such a big hit. And I think April might even have lethal next turn because of the Walking Ballista. Right? She can pump the Walking Ballista 3 times, make it an 8/8. So that's just like lethal on board at the moment from April's side.
I mean, did you include shooting down a Stinkweed Imp?
Yeah, so shooting down the Stinkweed Imp is going to make it 8/8 goes back down to 6/6. So it would only be 18. So Chantal buys herself another turn this way.
But it's a turn we're not sure we know what she can do with.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a close game.
It has been.
Interesting stuff.
So what happens if Chantal dredges alone, hits a creeping chill? She can then go 3 into hand, so she goes from 7 to 9 to 11. So she can deal 14, but April's going to be on 17. So I think like the maximum output of damage she can do here leaves her 3 damage short by the looks of things.
April playing a second Worm Coil Engine with her mana. Still has the ability to put 4 counters on Ballista.
All right, gonna grow the Ballista to
2 counters.
7/7. Gets to just be really aggressive here if she wants.
This has got to be shoot down Stinkweed Imp.
Mm-hmm.
Attack for 11.
Yeah, these one calls are just too much.
There's only 4 creatures in April's deck, for the record. 1 Ulamog Ceaseless Hunger, 1 Walking Ballista, 2 Worm Coil Engines.
They have some very good creatures there. Walking Ballista is not normally that impressive in this matchup, but it being able to kill the Narcomoeba was really relevant. The Narcomoeba would have pushed through for like 3 damage by this point, which would have made the difference.
Yeah, we had her at literally 1 short last turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was really, really close.
And 4th Creeping Shield does not want to come out to play. The Dredge Life from the Loam failed to find it.
Mm-hmm. Somewhere in there, but not close enough.
Yeah, there's no way for Chantal to get 17 through. So April King, wow, natural Tron, but nothing to do with it. Drew, except the Oblivion Stone, which was essentially a fog. Drew Walking Ballista just in time. Or no, she drew Karn just in time, right? This is the Karn game. This is essentially Chantal put 20 power on the board. April used Oblivion Stone as a fog. Chantal put the 20 power back on the board. And April top decked one of those 2 copies of Ugin the Spirit Dragon.
Yeah, the Ugin was just incredibly punishing. And like I say, I think it was correct for Chantal to play into the Ugin because it beats so many other cards that way that she'd otherwise struggle to beat.
Right.
But the Ugin specifically was very, very hard for her to get through. So
now what happens?
Chantal's side, it looks like she's trimming some stuff probably to make room for these Sport Seizers. Maybe some ways to clear Worm Coils out of the way. Yeah, the Nature's Claims are helpful for they can help pop worm coils. They can also help kill relics to help you keep getting in. Then from April's side, let's have a look at her board. So she's probably not bringing in too much. She kind of wants her graveyard hate to be tutorable, I'm assuming.
I would assume so as well.
But she just gets bringing this Frag Tusk.
I think she brought the relic in.
Interesting.
Does she have a main deck relic in addition to a sideboard relic?
She has 3 relics in the main.
Oh, my bad. I saw the relic in the main, but there's 3 in the main. And then the 4th on the sideboard, which I assume she's going to leave there. It's kind of under our thing.
She has brought in the Frag Tusk, which, like, as I was saying earlier, a big part of how the dynamics of the matchups really changed is Dredge has gained this burn plan thanks to Creeping Chill. So having a card like Frag Tusk, like, again, Tron against Burn, against a Dredge would almost be in the market for, like, a card that gained 5 life for once you've stabilized. So the fact that you also get a 5/3 that can do some blocking or whatever is quite nice. Alright. Chantal is making room for these sideboard cards, trimming, like, you know, a Dredger here, an Enabler there to make some room.
It's got to be good for the stream team that April got game 1, right? I mean, the Dredge game 1 winning percentage is just always going to be better than once the opponent gets to know what they're up against.
So I normally largely agree with that. I think the pre and post board games are pretty similar in this matchup, though, because Tron gets to main deck these Relic of Progenitus, and also the Tron deck didn't have that much of a sideboard because of the Khan Wish board.
All right, I'll buy that.
Occupying a lot of that space where, like, normally you might see Surgicals or something in a you know, a different Tron deck.
Both players have taken 1 mulligan. A little harder to track the mulligans now that they're London mulligans, but I think Chantel's keeping 6, but April has no lands. This is even less than the 1 land she mulliganed the first time around. All right.
Chantel's hand seems excellent. It's got a Dredger, a Looting to get it in the yard. She's got those 2 lands you really need to start casting Life from the Loams. And she has a Nature's Claim to maybe pop a Relic if April sneaks one of those down.
April has 2 Tron parts and an Ugin.
Okay.
With a Chromatic Star to turn on Sylvan Scrying. Yeah, she's got turn 3 Tron.
So this is one of those hands that previously would have been really good against the older versions of Dredge, but can struggle against the burn plan now if, like, Chantal can get in that 1 combat step to get enough damage on April. So it's going to be interesting to see if this is enough to fight back.
Yeah, and Ugin does crucially cost 8, not 7, so...
Yeah, so it's not coming down until turn 4. Right. So...
Both players make the obvious turn 1 plays, Faceless Looting, Chromatic Star...
Dredge this Imp. We hit a Creeping Chill.
Yeah.
We didn't hit any creatures or dredges, which is really unfortunate for Chantal.
Yeah, and she made the decision to put the Amalgam into the yard with that Faceless Looting instead of the Golgari Thug, which I think makes sense, right? Narcomoeba, Bloodghast, you're going to get that. You want to get that Amalgam into play on turn 2. But the bet didn't come through, right? She placed a bet and whiffed. Probably the right bet to make.
Yeah, so I actually see Chantal's in a pretty awkward position now. Not having a Dredger set up for next turn and also just not having any pressure in play. She's really going to need to draw something like a Cathartic Reunion or something to get the engine going again, or a Faceless Looting.
Yeah, this is turn 3, draw 1 card off the top of my deck, right?
Yeah.
That does sound awkward.
It's a Narcomoeba.
Oh, it's a Narcomoeba. Wow, that's bad. And it's not like she has anything she can cast either. I mean, she's sitting on a Nature's Claim, so she has a little bit of interaction with some of what April can do. But she really wanted, like, a land or... Yeah, I mean, the flashback to Faithless Looting would have been awesome. All right. Tron has been assembled. Turn 3, not the scariest
There is a relic that can come down now, though, that April just drew off the top.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny. The scary part of this turn is not the Tron enabled walking ballista. It's the 1-mana relic, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, not entirely sure how. I guess Chantal now gets the Nature's Claim the relic, which is nice. That's something at least. Before it can do too much damage.
Bye-bye relic.
Mm-hmm.
Again, drawing off the top. Okay, she does find the third land.
Okay.
So flashback Faithless Looting is, I assume, the play.
Mm-hmm. Get a Dredger in the yard.
Hits the Creeping Chill. 2 Dredgers in the yard.
Mm-hmm. This Walking Ballista is going to kill really quickly. Especially with the Ugin firing lightning bolts.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Space.
Now it's 4 mana. Now it's turn 4. 8th mana, 4th land. Ugin the Spirit Dragon.
Walking Ballista actually kills like much faster than it looks to. Because on the final combat step, it always secretly has double strike.
Yeah.
So again, a pretty unexciting Dredge here. It's hits a loam, which would have been pretty useful earlier, but I think it's going to be way too slow here. So next turn, April can take up the Walking Ballista to a 5/5. Deal 8 to Chantal, so Chantal's dead in 2. As things stand.
The second Ugin. This is not the draw Dredge wanted.
On a positive note, we might be about to see an Ugin ultimate in a minute. You don't get to see that every day. Alright.
What did I admit? Did Ugin fail to hit Chantal for 3 last turn?
No, I think it did. Chantal gains some life from a Creeping Chill, right?
Oh, the Creeping Chill. That's what I'm missing. Thank you. I missed the Creeping Chill.
No worries. So you see the Walking Ballista tick up.
4 down to 10.
Personally, I am very excited for this Ugin ultimate. No. Chantal hit a conflagrate. She might hurt the Ugin and take it off of ultimate.
Hey, whose team are you on? You're on team wants to see an Ugin ultimate, I see.
Ugin ultimates are really flashy, to be fair.
Emma is properly chastising you in the chat.
I know who doesn't want to see a Ugin ultimate. Based on chat right now. Alright, returns 3 lands. So Chantal can kill the Ballista. Shoot the Ugin for free. Welcome to the team. Apparently I'm now part of the stream team. I think that makes scheduling for tonight a bit tougher. Sorry. Can I be rescheduled for all my matches? And maybe Emma can learn how to play Jund nice and quick.
I think she has to find a substitute for you. That might be tough on short notice.
I guess she's stuck with me then.
There is the conflagrate.
Chantal decides to
yeah.
spoil our fun.
Kills the Ballista, knocks some loyalty off the Ugin. Discards her hand, but whatever. We can get those back. And Prized Amalgam triggers give her kind of a clock.
All right, so
Interesting. How does April play this?
probably just has to -3, I assume. Just sweep up the board. It's going to be pretty hard for Chantal to set up a kill in a timely manner if Ugin just keeps the creatures in check.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a backup Ugin, so she isn't too worried about using up the loyalty on this one to, repeatedly keep herself safe, I think.
So you're not playing the second Ugin this turn, you're just -3. Yeah, okay, and there you see the -3. Leave that Ugin around, maybe we'll minus it again and play the backup.
It's actually a little bit scary.
For April?
If Chantal can get this Hogaak in play, the second Ugin's going to be forced to just answer the Hogaak.
Sure.
Eventually, I guess the Oblivion Stone can protect the Ugin here, though, and then the Oblivion Stone is safe to be cracked to answer the board.
It does seem like it might be time for a fate counter.
Mm-hmm.
Sinkweed finds Creeping Chill.
Okay. Bit hard to see what's in Chantal's yard right now.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get that popped open if we can. She went for the Stinkweed Imp and not the Life from the Loam.
I guess she didn't know she was going to hit a Bloodghast necessarily. Might have been part of the thinking there.
Yeah, and I guess she has to hit 2 Bloodghast before she needs that land drop.
Mm-hmm. Also, returning the creatures isn't even necessarily that exciting with the Ugin on board.
It's a little exciting if you get to Hogaak, but yeah, you need the second Bloodghast for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is a fate counter on Ugin and also a charge on Blast Zone.
Yep. I guess the one appealing thing about playing towards returning a Bloodghast would be if you do force the Ugin to minus, then you're not getting bolted, and you buy yourself a bit more time.
Ugin ticks up, Chantal down to 9.
Mm-hmm. The chills being really relevant to stave off these Ugin +2s.
That's a good point. Yeah, she'd be at 3 without them.
Mm-hmm.
She'd be dead to the second Ugin in hand, in fact.
Strong line in chat. Someone's recommending a Blast Zone on 7, so we can get that Hogaak.
I liked spending the mana on the fate counter last turn. All right. This time it's Life from the Loam. There is a second Bloodghast. So, I mean, this is Hogaak. This one Hogaak has done a lot of work in this list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that the right number?
Really impressing me.
Is that the right number of Hogaaks, or is this just experimental, unclear, or?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I was watching, I think it was Gab Nassif's stream earlier. He was playing some Dredge. And every time he drew the Hogaak, it just looked absurd. And, he was wondering to himself, and chat was wondering, should there just be a second? Or, the Hogaak is really impressive.
It has looked great in both of these games. It's been kind of the whole thing she's had going on. Or at least a big part of it.
One of the amazing things, so there's 2 amazing things about Hogaak that Gohan mentioned. It's really good against a bunch of different hate. One hate card that's normally very good against Dredge, Anger of the Gods, answers all your recursive creatures. But if you return a Hogaak, it just laughs at Anger of the Gods. And then the other one is cards like Neil Spellbomb or Tormod Script that wipe the yard once. Mm-hmm. Normally they can be quite annoying for Dredge. They can slow you down by at least a turn, depending on your hand, maybe a couple turns. But Hogaak puts a lot of stress on those cards, because if I have 5 cards in yard and none of them are that scary, if you don't wipe my yard, maybe I have the Hogaak in hand and I get to cast it. But if you do wipe my yard, you're kind of using up your grave hate on something that, You don't want to be using
it is Blast Zone on 7. I think April wanted to be able to Ugin here to exile the recursive creatures. So this Blast Zone for Hogaak. Crazy.
The Blast Zone prophecy has come true. What a world, honestly. Ooh,
and a relic.
That one's nasty. Gets rid of this conflagrate before it could be scary.
And leave Chantel with no ability to dredge.
I think now that the second conflagrate is gone.
Oh, Karn Liberated is here as well.
Yeah, I think Chantel just doesn't have a way to win this anymore.
Karn triggers Sanctum of Ugin. Yeah, we're full of Snowball is in full downhill mode. Oh, what about the Blast Zone prophecy? What are you doing to us, Karn? Boo.
Now activating Blast Zone on 7 isn't even good. You just lose your Karn.
True story. And the Creeping Chill off the top.
Gets to send a chill April's way on the way out.
Yeah. Yeah, 4 mana drain for 3 is not going to fight against an Ugin, a Karn.
The second Karn.
Yeah, Great Liberator is here. And Ulamog.
Oh, the Karn can go get Lattice.
This feels like it's Lattice time, yeah.
Yep.
She's got the mana, right? 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 sounds like the magic number.
So much for lands. So April's really playing this deck because it's the ultimate land destruction deck, right?
Are you surprised? Have you met April? Interacted with her? All right, so April King is victorious. April wins the match 2-0. Just had Tron both games. Once it was natural, once it took a turn to get there. Chantel was able to get her dredge game going early on, but not good enough. Ugin in particular, just exiling all of those recursive threats. And we'll try to get our graphics cleaned up for you. Just leave the Mycosis and Lattice there. It's like April's taunting us.
Yeah, Ugin was really the story of both games, just making the creatures unable to get through.
Yeah.
Never got that important first combat step.
All right, well, probably not the way you guys drew up the first round, but it is the stream team who takes the 1-0 lead over the Scary Terrys. It's going to be up to Emma Handy to even things in round 2, or maybe just Jessica Estefan can stake her team to a 2-0 lead. Hogaak will return. We saw some Hogaak that round. Hogaak will return in the next round. Jess will be battling with Phoenix.
Awesome. I'm excited to see this one. I'm excited to see Emma crush.
We'll see what happens. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with that round.
CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs. CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs. CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the round 2 of the Team Modern Super League. My name is April King, avowed Tron hater, biggest hater of Tron of all time. And I'm here with Chantel. Chantel, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, I'm Chantel. I'm subbing in for Megan this week on Team Pterrys. I am a podcaster, which is how I met Autumn, actually founding Proven Combatants. And then, yeah, they needed a sub, and I was like, put me in coach, and here we are.
Awesome. Well, we're here for, so round 2, we're going to have Emma Handy playing Hogaak Reborn. Honestly, it just seems wrong. It feels like Hogaak should be staying dead. I mean, being that, I think it's dead. Is it dead? I assume it's dead.
It was dead. You killed it last game. That's why it needs to be reborn.
Versus Jessica Estefan, my team on the stream team. Versus Scary Tears on my team with Is It Phoenix. And I will probably I'm gonna stop the treadmill just because, you know, it's very distracting. But I just wanted to get my 1 minute.
Gotta get your cardio in. Yeah, absolutely.
I skipped the gym for Team Modern Super League, so
get in those steps.
Gotta get that heart rate up. So, great round. Last round. I was a little nervous on that second. Well, actually, on both games. I was very nervous on both games. I felt like in that first game, I was just a conflagrate away from death.
All that Ugin that you just slammed off that Agent Strings, I was like, oh no. Like,
yeah. So that game, I had like all the first game, I had all air. I kept a hand with the Tron lands and no gas. I had no cantrips and I had no gas. And I was like, you know what? This is a classic Tron hand. You have to keep it. You have to keep it. And it came through.
You believed in the heart of the cards, and it rewarded you.
I don't know if I would say that Tron has a heart.
A heart?
Yeah. I mean, if Karn is the heart of Tron, Does he have a heart? I guess he has like a power stone.
He has a spark. Can you have a spark without a heart?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, because Karn has a spark. He travels
Yeah.
around and
Yeah.
killing goblins and doing all sorts of
Exiling
horrible.
Hogaaks. Yeah.
Yeah, and that second game, I was like, no, I thought from looking at the thing, I was like, okay, all 7 of the conflagrate is going at it's going at Ugin, so I'm safe. And I was like, and once the the walking ballista died, I was like, no, I could say because I could have had you at 5, and I had another Ugin in hand. So if I managed to do that, I would just been like +3, put you to 2, and then slam another Ugin in the game. So, but I had to make it interesting. I had to make it interesting by
you
drawing
gotta
it out
show
there.
off that mycosynth lattice. You gotta just flash it. No, game 2, I also tried to believe in the heart of the cards, but it failed me a little bit. I went for the Dredge turn 1 or 2 and then just whiffs.
Yeah, I was wondering. Yeah, I think I made a mistake. Well, I mean, I know I made a mistake. Like I'm sure I made lots and lots of mistakes in that game. But I wasn't sure if there was a turn when I had I want to say Ugin and Relic down, and I could have held Relic in hand and not exposed it to Nature's Claim, and I think I should have done that because you had just been sitting there doing the occasional dredge thing that it does, where you just do nothing. So I should have surmised that you had some kind of like a Nature's Claim in hand. I think that was a misplay, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I could see holding it back just in case I have some removal. But I feel like at that point, getting down a threat when you're already like recognizing that I'm just spinning my tires and trying to end the game there makes a lot of sense as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the other thing I was thinking was just like, okay, what, I've been watching Tron versus Dredge, I feel like, for my entire life.
It's a classic.
It is, yeah, a classic. That is definitely one way to put it. Two of the most beautiful and elegant decks in all of Modern. Really, you can't get much more classic. When people go to sleep and they dream of Modern, they definitely think about Dredge versus Tron.
Oh yeah.
But the matchup is very different now, I feel like, than it was, just a few years ago when there was no creeping chill. And I would be just like, okay, if I could just stay out of range of a conflagrate, I'm fine. But man, watching those creeping chills just like suck the life out of me.
It was really awkward. I kept in game 1 a hand with 2 creeping chills in hand because I had the turn 1 faithless looting and the dredgers, and I was like, well, I guess I can hardcast these laters, but it's really awkward when you don't get the free 12-point life swing and you have to pay 8 mana for it.
Wow, it's
real
so
tough. You feel for me, right?
so that you don't get a free 12-point life swing. I just, when I go to bed tonight, I'll be thinking about, how much you had to suffer.
Yeah, so. It was rough.
But yeah, because of that, I was thinking, well, you know what? If I get Nature's Claimed, 4 life it's pretty nice. Like when I've already got an Ugin down and I'm just trying to, keep the board clear, like 4 life to keep out of range of creeping chills and conflagrates felt pretty good, but I don't know.
Little gift to you, I guess.
So anyways, what do you think about the upcoming matchup? We've got Hogaak Reborn, which I was a little surprised. You 3 seem very big on Dredge, even with the banning of Bridge from Below. Can you tell me a little bit about Hogaak Reborn?
This deck's really interesting. I'm really excited to see how it plays out, attacking on a very similar axis to the Bridge from Below decks, but you are playing a Hedron Crab to fuel your graveyard shenanigans now, but still with your Vengevine and doing all of the fun Hogaak-y things that you want to do.
So does the deck play... does the deck tend to play out a little differently than the Bridge from Below version?
I actually haven't been able to see a lot of how this deck plays out, but I know that Emma and Autumn have been really excited for it. So I'm actually really excited to see how this matchup goes, especially against Phoenix, which is another kind of graveyard recursion-y deck as well.
All right. Well, it looks like we are ready for the round to begin. So everybody cross your fingers and root for the stream team here. Let's get some...
I think you said the wrong team name there.
So how do you feel about this matchup? Do you think it's a favorable matchup for the new Hogaak deck?
I think pre-board it's just going to be it feels like it's just a straight race, like who can have the faster clock and do the things the quickest. I think it looks like Emma mulliganed there. Is that what I'm seeing? I saw a flicker of cards.
Yeah, it's a little tricky to tell when... Sorry, I'm leaning into the camera. It's just so I can see my screen. It's a little tricky to tell when you don't get to see a card disappear from your...
Yeah, Jess definitely mulliganed and is keeping 6, it looks like. Emma also keeping 6. Putting a prized amalgam on the bottom.
I'm pretty excited here to see a card called Aria Flame. This is a new one in Modern Horizons.
Oh, yeah.
It's super sweet. It reminds me a little bit of... is it Delusions of Grandeur? Or I can never remember if it's Delusions or Illusions. I think it's Illusions, right? Illusions of Grandeur. That when it comes into play, people just gain a big chunk of life. And you just suck it away. So in this case, the opponent, Emma's going to gain 10 life, but then it just every cantrip ticks up and just smacks Emma in the face, which I really like this because the Phoenix deck can just, with all of those 1-mana cantrips, it can just do 1, 2, 3, 4 so quick. Yeah, I like that it's another angle of attack that doesn't rely so much on Phoenixes, which are, they're awesome, but they're a little easy to remove. So, all right. So we got Emma is here. She's going with the turn 1 Hedron Crab. It's kind of a shame for her that she had to Emma is okay. It's kind of a shame for her, but good for Jessica that she didn't have the watery grave in hand, so she had to play one of her fetches, which will cut 6 cards away, or cut 3 extra cards away next turn.
It seems like Jess is just firing off those cantrips and digging to more gas.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice, because, I mean, on the one hand, those cantrips are so helpful once Aria of Flame is on board, but on the other hand, I can definitely see her trying to search for some kind of interaction or something to help end the game faster if she can.
And Emma playing the second Hedron Crab before firing off that land to get all the triggers. So your graveyard really filling up there.
Yeah, that's a lot of cards in the graveyard. I can see how this deck, maybe it's a little bit less resilient than the old one with Bridge from Below, but I can see how it could be really, really, really fast, just completely filling up the graveyard to get back Hogaaks and Vengevines.
Oh yeah, like getting the Vengevine back there after casting the Citrus Supplier means that she can Hogaak now, because you can't Hogaak off of just the Hedron Crabs because they're blue. So now Emma's assembled 13 power.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty decent for turn 2. I realize that they banned a Bridge from Below. They banned Bridge from Below to
hinder these sorts of shenanigans.
Hinder this deck, but look at what we see here. We still see 1 trillion power on turn 2. Maybe without the Altar of Dementia combo going on, but still just an absolute ton of power here.
This is still a 2-turn clock, not like Altar of Dementia, which would have made this a very, very, halved that at least, very fast clock.
For sure, but even, Jess's deck can deal some significant damage with Aria, but with she's going for Manamorphose first. That's interesting.
That's interesting.
I'm surprised just I wonder, why do you think she might have done that instead of just casting Arya Flame and holding the Manamorphosis for next turn?
Well, I think recognizing that she might not have the clock she needs with Arya Flame, she might be digging to try and put phoenixes in the yard off of that Thought Scour, or to hit some other form of gas.
I can definitely see that. So let me try to think here. It's been a long day. I've got 2 kids that I'm taking care of, so I'm trying to think. So 1 + 2 is 3. Plus 6 and 10, 15, 21. So okay, so she needs quite a few spells. So like those Manamorphoses are probably not going to get there. She would need to draw exceptionally well, like Manamorphose into Manamorphose into Manamorphose into
Yeah,
Manamorphose
get
into
the
like
full play set.
whole bunch of bolts, which would get there. That would get there, but
And one of the benefits of Phoenix is that you do get to see so many cards, because every card is either drawing a card or benefiting from you drawing a card.
sure. But without any, without Jessica having any pressure down, just this like facing off against 13 power, it just seems almost insurmountable. Like even here,
This does drop it to a 3-turn clock, and I do like sandbagging that lightning bolt a little bit, but with that Gravecaller coming back from the graveyard, it's back to being dead next turn, which is not quite what Jess is looking for.
Yeah, I think in this case, I mean, she doesn't realize it, but I think she was dead regardless because being at 10 life, the Bloodghast would have come in with haste.
Oh yeah, yes,
So.
absolutely.
Yeah. So we need
Metamorphose to dig for some more answers.
But I have no idea. Honestly, at this point, I'm not sure what gets Jess out of this one.
I think it makes sense if she was digging to Thing in the Ice last turn, because being able to cast it last turn and then use this turn to cycle through all of your spells and bounce the entire board buys you a lot of time, I think.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I bet that is almost certainly what she was doing. That makes a ton of sense. But here, she still has 1 more land drop. So she can, but she doesn't have any more Manamorphoses. I assume that's her graveyards. Yeah.
Well, if she casts the thing and uses it as a chump blocker, I don't believe Hogaak has trample for all of the good Hogaak does. So, like, you can go down to 1 theoretically, not knowing that the Bloodghasts are in hand and will have haste.
Sure. So let's see. Even if the Bloodghast did not have haste, we'd have. She could suck up 4, so she'd be taking 4, 8, 9, 11 damage. Yeah, I think she would still be dead regardless. For the people in the chat who are asking how old my kids are, they are 3 and 6.
Oh, that's so cute.
They're very good kids, and they are blissfully, thankfully, very much asleep right now.
Just is snapping off those ravenous traps in the board.
Yeah, I think with every single deck that we built, we were looking at the sideboards, we're just like, you know what? You just can't trust that a Bridge from Below ban is going to stop the sheer power of Hogaak, which is like kind of insane. So, every one of our decks, we were always thinking about how can we deal with graveyard decks. So like, we've got Ravenous Traps, we've got Ley Lines of Sanctity, or sorry, Ley Lines of the Void. That's the one. That's
we have
the
those
one.
as well. Oh, and my mistake, Hogaak does have trample. Wow, that card's so good.
Yeah, it definitely does have trample. I think I suspect most people who play Modern remember the time that they figured out that Hogaak
has trample.
Yep, right when they're like, okay, I've got this game under control, and I'm dead. Wow, that was a fun game.
That was something.
So besides the Ravenous Trap, Jessica's gonna be bringing in Anger of the Gods.
Clean up all those little dudes.
Yeah, it gets rid of everything but Hogaak, who's still like a pretty big problem. An 8 problem.
8 for 7.
8 problem. What about Emma? What do you think? What is Emma's sideboarding strategy here?
It looks like she's considering Leyline of the Voids and Thought Seizes. There also is a Miser's Crypt Breaker that I'm interested in seeing what she does with that.
Yeah, I'm like a little curious as to what matchup the Crypt Breaker is for. I mean, I would assume it's for maybe some kind of like Is it for control matchups?
That's a very good question.
I don't know. This is very exciting. All right, so we're back for the second game. All right.
Both seem like reasonable hands. No
Yeah,
way to get that. Is it Phoenix or the Phoenix in the yard for Jess?
Yeah, but I think with all the cantrips that she has in her hand, I think it's like pretty likely that she will get there. It looks like she had to take. No, she didn't take Mulligan. Okay.
Visions draws a land, and do not know how those guys went. A neonate is an interesting draw for Emma because now she has the option of either carrion feeding turn 1 or neonating.
It's interesting here how the Hogaak Reborn deck, it doesn't really play, or actually I don't think it plays any dredgers at all. So
Nope.
it just plays creatures that dump other creatures into the bin. So the neonate is like a really interesting call because often when you think of neonate, you think of, well, I'm just gonna discard a dredger and then dredge 5 or dredge 6 or whatever.
Oh, it's super. That's why we were able to submit both of these decks because no dredgers means no overlap.
Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, right. So how do you feel like this deck? So if your team didn't have the restrictions of the 12 overlap, would you just keep running straight dredge?
I don't know. I think this deck attacks on a bit of a different axis than Dredge because Dredge is kind of about just filling, like dredging through your deck and like a critical mass, whereas this is very focused on Hogaak, and whereas Hogaak is a one of in traditional Dredge, or like the Dredge list I played earlier, I believe it's a 4 of here.
Yes, it is indeed a 4 of. All right, well that was a great faithless looting for Jess because she gets to jump 2 Phoenixes in the board, and with a bunch of cantrips in hand, she's going to be bringing them back, I believe,
Setting up
right?
for a monster turn for sure.
Yeah.
And another Phoenix in hand just in case.
Which, in this case is actually like pretty decent because with the 4th land that she has in her hand, that's another 3 power next turn of.
Yeah, you just slam
haste.
it and it has haste, and then you get to attack, and that seems really good.
Yep. Whereas like Emma is like a really rough shape here because she doesn't have a graveyard, so her Hogaak is like pretty bad. She can deal with a Phoenix, but even that is like a little rough because it's just so temporary.
So recursive.
Yeah, and now that Jessica has another Faithless Looting, she can just do the same thing next turn. She can loot, dump this Phoenix into the bin, opt, Lightning Bolt, get a couple Phoenixes back, and really put the hurt on Emma, so.
Yeah, that Faithless Looting.
It's a
Doing
good card.
some work. Yeah.
It's a good card. I swear every banned and restricted announcement, I'm just like, okay, is this going to be the one? Where Faithless Looting gets the axe.
Faithless Looting is bae. I would hate to see it go.
It just seems so pivotal and critical to so many decks that I wonder if like we're just gonna keep this around because people love playing this card. So
yes, no, definitely. I've had it where I've even been like, oh, Titan Breach, I can fit a Faithless Looting in there. Yeah, like we'll make that work.
Thank you, Randy. For those who are not watching the chat, there has to be each team has to submit for the Modern Super League. They have to submit 5 different decks, and each one of those decks have to have no more than 12 cards in common. And that is not counting lands and not counting sideboard cards, which is really nice.
So Emma did find a line here to fill up her graveyard and be able to run out that Hogaak, which I believe is what she's doing now, choosing what cards to delve away, as well as being able to get in for a little bit of chip damage there.
So with Jess at 14, we've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 damage on board right now. But
on Jess's side, with and she draws
another Phoenix.
Another Phoenix. So that should
wow.
be
That should be the game,
that's
right?
lethal, yeah. She has
Yep.
12 power in Phoenixes and then the bolt in hand. That seems really good in there.
Seems pretty decent. Pretty decent. Bolt to the face. Right to the face. Do it, do it, do it, do it.
Can't watch.
No! Oh no.
Went for the faithless looting
Oh wait,
instead.
she still has the eyelet. The eyelet?
The
Islet?
Illet?
Illet?
Is
Okay. Could be an islet. Bolt to face.
There we go.
Hey, excellent.
Yeah,
Just,
that is
just what I like to see. Bolts to the face.
the Hogaaks are not the only things being reborn here, apparently.
It's just like giving me flashbacks of Bridge from Below zombies. You just get a big line of zombies all the way across there. Except for this time, it's 5-2 flyers.
Yeah, they come down hard and fast.
Woo! That was
Hard
so
and
close. All right. So do you think that there's gonna be any changes for the
This
final game here?
Emma will be on the play where she was on the draw before, and then Jessica's moving to the draw. I don't know if that affects either sideboarding plans.
Yeah, I feel like she definitely still wants to keep in all of her, graveyard hate, but
Well, it looks like Jess is considering bringing in Force of Negation, fancy new card from Modern Horizons, and that makes sense if she's thinking she needs to be a bit more reactive. You can counter Emma's key spells and then keep doing your thing.
Yeah, the trick with that is that I think Force of Negation can only counter Faithless Looting. I don't know if there's any other cards that she can counter with it.
Oh, that's interesting, yeah.
Because it is non-creature
Non-creature
spells. And everything in Dredge, unfortunately, is a creature.
Well, there is a Faithless Looting in hand that might get countered. Oh no,
Yep.
Jessica, shift back that Force of Negation hand, and she's currently considering a double cantrip hand now instead. And looks like she snapped it off.
I mean, it's fine. Like I think I really feel for Jessica here because it's a fine hand against some decks.
Like a slower, grindier matchup where you have time to do a bit more digging.
Yeah, like when you have like hours and days to sculpt your hand into this beautiful, majestic thing that you could just bring to the Louvre, and people from the world around would come and look at your majestic Izzet Phoenix hand. But here she's just gonna get. I just worry that she's gonna get absolutely steamrolled.
Meanwhile, on the other side, Emma pitches a Vengevine and a Hogaak with another Hogaak and 2 more Vengevines in hand.
Yeah, this actually is really good news for Jess because this hand is really slow. I mean, Emma can play a Stitcher Supplier and hope to mill some good stuff, but she really looks like she really needs a land.
Yeah, blue source to get that Hadron Crab, which I don't know if she had in hand when she cracked her fetch land.
Is she going to be wanting to get a blue source or a green source? Because the blue source would let you cast the crab, but the green source would let you cast like a Hogaak, and I don't think there's a green-blue.
No, you can't use mana to cast Hogaak, unfortunately.
Oh right, sure, right.
Laughing.
Oh my god, the card is just so frustrating. Okay, anyways, Hogaak, great card. Everybody loves it.
It does seem like Jess drew a Ravenous Trap on her turn, which is really good if Emma goes for dumping more cards into that graveyard.
Unfortunately, she doesn't really have any good way to do that right now.
No, it's kind of a little bit of not enough lands on Emma's side and maybe too many lands on Jess's side, but there is a Marsh Flats for Emma, so
yeah.
This
is classic Magic here. We've got Flood versus Screw, and we're gonna find out which wins. I think typically Mana Screw tends to be favored in these kinds of matchups.
We will see for sure.
But Faithless Looting again could just bail you out of a bunch of problems. You know, you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna Faithless Looting away these 2 dumpy lands. I'll just, oh, look at this, 2 more dumpy lands. I don't want those either. Let's just get rid of them. Get out of here.
I'm not sure what Emma's considering here. She has Stitcher Supplier and Carry-On Feeder in the yard, but I don't think anything super great.
Yeah, she still needs one more creature to be
Get
able to
that
delve with
Hogaak.
Hogaak.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like the Hedron Crab being blue is not going to get there. So
Well, Jess did draw a Phoenix, and next turn she can play her 4th land and then just start attacking in with a 3-2 the old-fashioned way.
yeah, in this matchup where you have 2 decks that are just kind of spinning their wheels, doing the things that their decks are famous for, which is nothing sometimes, just doing nothing sometimes. All right, so what would be so it looks like Jess is going to just slam that Phoenix and just start getting in, and she actually has like a decent clock because she's going to be attacking for 3 here, 6
and
here, and then 6 the next turn, and that should actually that'll put her 3 short, won't it?
One
Or
short.
1 mana, or put her
One-
1 life short rather, at 15.
Well, it looks like this Phoenix might be getting the axe, which does let Emma bin another Vengevine. Hopefully, still trying to set up for a bigger turn.
Oh, Neonate Goat is so good here.
Yeah, super good. Can crab, land, neonate, crack, Vengevines. I think come back after that. If I'm doing my math correctly.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
just having the it's interesting. Okay. So you can play the crab, get 3 back, maybe even hit another Vengevine. Yeah, this is really rough now for Jess. It's looking real bad. But Jess still has like some really good draws here. I'm
Yeah, I
surprised that
believe she boarded in anger. Was that correct?
she did board in anger. This is a really smart play, by the way, by Emma, because it could be tempting. I feel like it could be tempting to, you know, just play the Hedron Crab, put a bunch of cards in your graveyard, and try to hit more Vengevines or Bloodghasts or whatever. But she's playing really smart because she's playing around the Ravenous Trap.
Yeah, with open deck lists, Emma would see that Ravenous Trap is definitely a thing to be wary of.
Yeah, that's just a really great play by Emma here.
Instead, she's taking a setup turn, and just run out that Hogaak.
Yep.
Percent lethal on the next turn seems real good.
Yeah, it's way so far past lethal. And now even, you know, the fact that these Vengevines are attacking for 8 means that even if Jessica draws the Anger of the Gods, she's still dead.
Yeah, with the
Still got
Hogaak.
Hogaak.
Yeah.
So I don't think that there is anything that she can do at this point. I think the game is just over. There could be something like maybe a Faithless Looting into
Well, she'll have 5 lands next turn, so maybe no. I was gonna say if she hits a thing in the ice, but she doesn't have the cantrips in hand to be able to run through it. Speaking of the devil.
There's a thing of this, but she really needed a Faithless Looting first so that she could just dump some of these lands and draw into some more cantrips with the thing. So it would have gotten there too.
With that, we even it up. Even up the score. I am avenged with an arisen Hogaak.
You know, you could put the dead to death for good, but or at least you think it's for good. You know, you think you're like, all right, Tron, they're in the ground.
Comes back.
They're finally gonna stay there, but here we are again. Hogaak is back. That was a very, very impressively played game by Emma. She really playing around that Ravenous Trap completely won her that game there.
No, I think it was well maneuvered, and I think there were some interesting draws on both sides.
Yep. Yeah, it's always interesting, you know, when you have those games where both players are doing nothing, just to be like, okay,
gotta set up.
Who's going to be the one? Who's going to get that explosive turn that really turns the tide of the game?
Yeah, and in game 2 it was Jess, and in game 3 it was Emma.
So, all right. So what do we have? Who do we have up in the next round?
Next, we have Autumn and MTG Nerd Girl are facing off. Another classic modern matchup, Jund versus Burn.
Jund versus. Are we still live? I see we're live. Okay. Oh, they hear you. I don't even think. Anyways, Jund versus. You know, you can't tell this, people, but there's like a witch or like the wizard behind the curtain who's just talking to us and like whispering things in our ears. And I feel like a sportscaster who I assume we're getting like,
got the big
all
the
of
big
these
mic.
things. Like, you know, this is the first time since 1969 that somebody has played 3 branch vines in a turn with a Hogaak and a blah 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 blah.
We're just getting this in. The match went to Emma.
All right. So, what do you think about Jund versus Burn?
I think I would like to be in the Burn player's seat, but that might just be a personal preference.
Yeah, I think so too. Usually when you play Burn, it used to be that like Burn was the fastest. It used to be that Burn was like, one of the fastest, consistently fastest decks in Modern. Like it would kill on turn 4, and very occasionally on turn 3. I think it could do it, but mostly on turn 4. But now it's actually kind of one of the slower decks in Modern, and
wildly.
But Jund I think is even slower. It's like that
is the
5, 6,
grindy deck for sure, which
Yeah,
I think Burn is hoping to capitalize on.
I agree, because like Burn, like sure you might like Inquisition away a Burn spell, but you're just gonna keep drawing more off the top. It just doesn't, it doesn't really matter that the Jund deck is playing an attrition game, because the Burn deck just every one of their resources is exactly the same. It's all the same. It's all the same.
Awesome. I think we're gonna hop to commercial now.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. I'll see you in a later round.
CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
Hello, and welcome back to the Team Modern Super League. So, for those of you just turning in, we played a riveting matchup of Hogaak versus Is It Phoenix with a very deserving victor.
Yeah, I bet you were very deserving.
Thanks.
Yeah. Go on.
That second game when you had the 4th Phoenix, I was just like, I literally thought to myself, okay, this line beats 3 Phoenixes. And you put the 4th in the graveyard, and I was just like...
Yeah. I was like, I've got a line involves like maybe I'm a shocking or I'm in jump block mode, but I have a line and I'm going to stick to it, and I'm going to get paid off for playing excellently, obviously.
Yeah, you got paid for sure.
I did make bank on that play.
Look,
I got punished in game 3 though, but
it's totally fair. I got 3 Vengevines, you got 4 Phoenixes. You know, whatever. It's good math.
They both deal 12. You know, it's a break even on the damage, I guess.
You guess, huh? I
guess.
can't actually count that high. I don't have enough fingers, so I'm just gonna take your word for it. That
Okay.
You're good with the numbers. I'm not.
I guess you can count to 10 and I'll count to 14.
Oh, that's a reference because I was at 14.
Yeah.
I'm very, very fast, you see.
I know. I can see that.
Okay, so this matchup is the new version of Jund versus Brittany or MTG Nerd Girl on Burn. How do you feel about y'all's team side of this?
I think that there is a world where both decks are happy to have this matchup. I have not played much of Jund since it became like a more Ren and 6 centered build. Likewise, I have not played Burn since the London Mulligan has come into play. So all of this is kind of speculative on my behalf. I think that game 1 is probably going to go to Burn, game 2 is probably going to go to Jund, and then game 3 is going to be like really interesting for us to commentate over, and I'm looking forward to having 3 really good matches.
Sure, I can agree. And looking here at the specific Jund list, it's pretty great that Autumn has cut specifically Dark Confidant from Jund. But things like Chandra, Acolyte of Flame are kind of a liability. So I wouldn't say I'm feeling good about this, but I'm not really feeling bad about it.
Yeah, it's almost like Autumn knew we'd have like a Burn deck, and they were like, yeah, who needs Dark Confidants anyway?
Look, Dark Confidant, imagine a good card in this, the year of our Lord 2019. And
2009 called and it wants its deck back.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Is when you thought of a good card in 2019, it wasn't Dark Confidant that you thought of. But there's not really that much out of the sideboard from Autumn's side, right? There are these collective brutalities, and then other than that, what are they going to do? Bring in surgical extraction?
I mean, I could see like maybe a couple of like Anchor of the Gods here, but no, I think whenever surgical extraction gets board in kind of like willy-nilly, for lack of a better term, it's just really unfortunate because you're down a card, you're down 2 life, and you're like, I've taken one of your 4-offs that weren't really impacting anything anyway. So people just board in surgical extraction way too much.
Exactly. If you can't turn it into something like a Cabal Therapy almost, where you get a card out of their hand, then you discarded a card. Go you. Neat.
Having a look at the Burn deck though, it's gonna be burning some faces off tonight. Hopefully everyone's face gets burnt off by this beautiful pile that Brittany is playing.
You know,
I think
what?
I just called our own deck a pile. Forgive me.
Look, it's your teammate, but I'm normally a Burn lover, so I can't just sit here while you call Burn a pile.
It's a nice pile. It is very effective sometimes, and it is going to be very effective in exactly match 3 and I think like match 6 tonight. So
65% of the time, it works every time. I'll give you that.
You got it.
Yeah, so it's a pretty standard build. The biggest thing that I kind of want to point out here is the full playset of Sunbait Canyon in the sideboard. That's going to do a lot of work against Jund in particular, where this can sort of hide cards from Liliana of the Veil, where you can, play out your land and then on the end of Jund's turn, put the extra spell in your hand rather than ever exposing anything to a hand disruption effect.
Yeah, so Brittany is playing, MTG Nerd Girl is playing 4 Sunbait Canyons in the main board. And I think they're going to be a great tool in this matchup. Having I think like card density and velocity is like really important here. She's going to be taxed from multiple sides, so it'd be nice to have an ability to at least A, play around Lily, and B, like rebuild a hand.
Right, and one of the things that the Jund deck tries to do is kind of whittle both players down to like X number of resources and then build back up and pressure with what's left. And that can be a bit of a struggle for the Jund deck that in a lot of ways is kind of just a combo deck where your combo is resolve 7 spells. But Sunbaked Canyon is something that has immunity from a lot of the things that Jund is trying to be doing. And that's pretty attractive from the burn side of things.
But yeah, I don't know. If I were to ask you, who do you think not would win this matchup, but which deck do you think is favorite in this matchup? Just now that we've had a look over the list.
So I think it's really build dependent, but I think I'm going to give the nod over to Boros Burn. The biggest reason for that is over on the Jund side, we saw a lot of fetch lands, which is subtly a really big deal. So it's a card. They play really well with the card Ren 6. Because you want to put a land in your graveyard every turn, so you effectively get to draw this extra card with Ren 6, right? But the problem is you can't really afford to pay a bunch of life for your fetch lands against a deck like Burn that doesn't care about card advantage. So I'm having to pay an extra 2-3 points of life. That's basically a free spell for Brittany, and it turns Burn from a cast 7 spells combo deck into a cast 6 spells or a cast 5.5 combo deck.
I think notably as well, they're also playing, I think I'm going to mispronounce this, but Nurturing Peatland, which whilst not entirely irrelevant, is going to be quite relevant if Autumn is using this to pay for a mana, as opposed to just sacking it to draw a card. I think that they're going to be losing a lot of life just to their mana base, and that's Jund. It gives you 3 colors, it gives you answers to almost everything, but it's taxing in its own way.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And so with all of that, I think we've said about all we can say on this. So let's go ahead and throw it on down to the players.
Yep.
So it looks like Autumn has a pretty okay start with this Inquisition on 1, but doesn't have a threat to follow it up, which could end up being a big issue.
Yeah, looking at it from here, the Assassin's Trophy it's going to be fine. It's not going to be great, but it looks like Brittany's going to be looking to land a turn 2 Eidolon and tax all of the spells that Autumn's going to be able to draw and cast.
Whew!
I love it. So that was a very skillful play by my teammate in which they drew a card for a turn, and it was probably the perfect card to draw. So I think we're crushing it.
Tail is always time with Thoughtseize, right? It's always you cast your Thoughtseize or Inquisition effect, and then the card you wanted to take is on top of their library.
Yeah. I mean, I get hit by it often enough where I Thoughtseize my opponent, and then they'll destroy it, and sometimes they Thoughtseize me and I destroy it. It's just the way of life. You just accept it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The Lightning Bolt is going to be pretty good here.
There's an awkward spot where Autumn's probably going to want to make sure that they fetch before this Goblin Guide actually gets to do its trigger, because it's really awkward for Autumn if the card it draws is exactly the basic mountain.
I could see that. I think it depends on how Autumn wants to sequence their lands effectively. I could see them using the Assassin's Trophy just for almost mana efficiency and using the Lightning Bolt on the Eidolon of the Great Revel. But as we can see here, they are fetching with the trigger on the stack. So heads up plays by both Autumn and Emma.
The big draw to the Kolaghan's command, you basically want to use the Kolaghan's command on the Eidolon because it's really hard to get 2 cards worth of value out of Kolaghan's command.
Sure.
So being positive that you'll be able to convert it for value is a really big deal here, even if it doesn't feel very good. Do you think there's merit to holding the bolt for the Eidolon of the Great Revel and then trying to K-command the Goblin Guide?
I don't think so. I think you're just taking damage there that you don't need to be taking.
Sure.
Yeah, I think the Goblin Guide was definitely getting killed. I think it was a matter of which land you wanted to use to kill the Goblin Guide. I like this line. I like this line quite a bit.
So if MTG Nerd Girl chooses not to cast the Eidolon of the Great Revel and just goes for the pair of 1-drops, do you think it's too cute, or do you think there's merit to Autumn Assassins trophying the Sunbaked Canyon to just turn off this Boros charm?
I kind of like Assassins trophying the Sunbaked Canyon. According to Autumn's knowledge base, MTG Nerd Girl only has the one creature, so the Assassin's trophy isn't really doing much if the Colligan's command is going for the Eidolon.
Mm-hmm. There's even a point where if Autumn thinks the game is going to go long, then they know that Sunbaked Canyon's going to be worth a card eventually anyway. So maybe just buying time against Boros Charm is worth it.
Yeah, I think also it can be underrated how important it is taking burn off white mana. I don't know. I think people undervalue just the ability to do that sometimes.
Yeah, there's a while when Atarka's Command was really big in the deck that you would see other strategies boarding in Blood Moon against the Goblin Guide deck, which was so bizarre, but it kind of made sense.
I was never on board with boarding in Blood Moon against Burn, but people were doing it, and you were definitely going to get them. The Blood Braid Elf here is a really nice draw.
Oh yeah, my wife.
I thought that was me.
Listen, not in front of chat. Not in front of chat.
My apologies. All right, so we're in Brittany's turn, and
Brittany really holding this idol, and what do you think she's holding it for?
I think weirdly enough, this is a fine play because it's gonna decrease the amount of mana efficiency that Autumn can get out of their turn. I don't know if it's a play that I would have made. I think I definitely was just jamming Eidolon and just trying to use up my mana as best as possible without flooring face. That being said, Autumn is at 9. So if Brittany responds here with a Boros Charm and puts them to 5, gets a mountain, they can put them to 3, and the top of their deck is definitely a lava spike. So I think we've got this.
Look, the top of their deck is not definitely a lava spike, okay, Jess? I can't use that kind of energy right now.
I am just trying not to be biased in my commentary, so I hope that suits you.
You're being biased, and I don't like that.
You don't like it? You don't like that I'm being biased, Ella?
Look, Autumn's just out here doing their best.
Yeah. But like I think I'm gonna want to see what this Bloodbraid Elf hits.
Best possible is probably just like the card Inquisition of Kozilek.
Yeah. Inquisition's gonna be decent.
Scavenging Ooze, maybe?
But I mean, even so, I think Brittany's draws are just incredibly live because if they draw a land, their Searing Blaze is on. If they don't even need it to be on, to be quite honest. Oh, a Scoops. It's not great right now, but it has potential. It gives Autumn some more outs if they get to untap.
Yeah, MTG Nerd Girl's in the spot where both spells are good and lands are good, and I believe that's what we call the Nightmare.
I mean, Nerd Girl just has lethal at the moment, right? If they bolt face, untap, and just Searing Blaze for 1.
Yup.
So
that is a solid 4 points of damage.
That is exactly 4 points of damage, and no more and no less.
I got that many fingers. Count them. 4 fingers.
It was a 3 damage spell off the top in some situations, so I'm going to take half a point for that one.
Oh, I see you have not played much Burn to call Searing Blaze a lava spike. That is...
I have played very little Burn, but enough to kind of enough against it. We're now moving to sideboarding, though.
So really, most of what we're going to see is probably just Collective Brutality and maybe these Fulminators. I guess Autumn's decided they just want something to attack the white mana, or at least just get cards like Kolaghan's Command out of the deck, maybe?
Yeah. I think sometimes you will bring in subpar cards just to get rid of the ones that are just basically textless. Mm-hmm. I can't see much of Brittany's sideboarding. The cards are a little bit too teeny tiny for my eyes, but I hope those goblin guides are coming back in.
Is that... Double check. Okay, so one of the arguments for Chandra that's actually pretty cool is it lets you flash back Inquisition of Kozilek as well as Collective Brutality. So honestly, I would probably leave those in over Renin 6. Flashing back a Collective Brutality is probably just game a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean, the Chandra has text, whereas the Renin 6 less so. I don't think the 1 damage is going to be overly relevant. Again, their Autumn's mana base is incredibly taxing on the life total, and that is incredibly relevant in this matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm just perusing chat while we're waiting for sideboarding to happen. And my favorite comment so far is someone was like, "I knew Jess was Australian, but I didn't know she had an accent." It's like, what did you think was going on?
Well, I don't have a good joke for this actually.
My bad. Game 2 though. We're seeing a reasonably strong 7 from Autumn. It's doubling position.
Yeah, that means that actually gives Autumn the ability to fetch a tapped Shockland, which means that her mana is going to be good for this game, and that's just so big for this deck.
Yep. It's just painless mana base, super important. I know Emma and I are talking about that quite a bit, but seriously can't stress enough how little life you want to be spending here.
And Autumn literally paid, what, 4 life last game? It actually lost them in the game.
Yes. It meant the Searing Blaze literally didn't need to be turned on to just kill. Kind of sucks that there's no real turn 1 play on Brittany's side, but
this is still fine. It's kind of like we were saying before, how they just need a bunch of resources.
Yeah. The White Source is a nice pickup. Kind of sad to be seeing a land and not a 1-drop creature, but we'll take it.
Look, you got that last game. Didn't Brittany board out Goblin Guides? It would have exactly been a Monastery Swift Spear.
Yeah. The Goblin Guides did get boarded out. Really interestingly, though, I did say Burn would take down game 1, and my projection here, obviously unbiased, is that Jund will take down game 2.
Ooh.
I like the Raging Ravine. It's good.
Oh, yeah, that's so good here. And now Autumn's setting up for a pretty brutal turn 3 Fulminator.
Yep. I'm not on Autumn's team, but they showed some excitement when Al Ugin was ultimating, so I'm just going to say it. I'm really excited for this turn 3 Fulminator Mage. Sorry, squad.
You're so good to us, Jess. It's a lot. And I appreciate you. I just think you should know that.
Thank you. That's really nice of you. It's very quaint.
It was all very genuine, too.
Absolutely. So we see a Skullcraft getting taken from Autumn's Inquisition of Kozilek. And leaving Brittany with not too much to do. Well, that's changed. We have something to do. We have six to the face, but as we can see, Autumn is still on 20. Having 2 cards taken out of Brittany's hands means we don't have that 7-card combo kill as easily. And usually it's like a 5-card combo against Jund. So
yeah,
I believe in us.
A lot of the most brutal games are the ones where they just go Blackleaf Cliffs, Blackleaf Cliffs, Inquisition of Kozilek, fetch basic forest, Tarmogoyf. Good luck.
We've got that Tarmogoyf checked, or we do until this either this Fulminator or this Lily comes down. But
it's a tough spot, but because Autumn, maybe they want to just try and convert this Fatal Push for a card.
Okay.
Start rolling Liliana up, because there's a lot more value in having Liliana for several turns than Brittany missing this 1 white source for exactly her next draw step.
Autumn will have to take 3 to get a black source into play for Liliana, though. Whereas I kind of just prefer maybe fetching a forest here. Oh, we're doing it. We are doing this. Autumn is braver than I am, and I have at some point played too much Grixis Death Shadow. Sorry.
Some point, that's most, right?
Yeah. Wasted so much of 2019 on Death Shadow. All right, we have ditched a mountain here.
Ooh. Hitting that second mana source for burn could actually be colossal.
I think in this place I would have just disregarded either the Searing Blood or the Path to Exile, probably leaning towards the Searing Blood because the path is kind of unconditional. But I really like hanging on to that mountain.
Searing Blood's a little bit awkward when Dark Confidant isn't in Autumn's deck. I think it only hits Scavenging Ooze. Is there something I'm forgetting?
Bloodbraid Elf.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it hitting Bloodbraid Elf seems kind of relevant. It'll hit a Skooz. If there's no non-basics into play, it can hit a Fulminator Mage, but there's almost always going to be non-basics.
Sure. Lily's starting to get up there. She's only a turn or so away from an ult.
Yeah. I think a Lily ult is going to be the least relevant mode on this Liliana of the Veil, but
yeah, I guess both players discard 2 cards has been playable.
Yeah, it's Mind Rot for 3 mana.
Next turn will be up to Delirium Skeins. That usually costs 3 mana.
I'm gonna need some Oracle text.
Delirium Skeins is a black and 2 sorcery out of Dissension. Both players discard 3 cards.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, we drew a land. We did the thing.
I caught him doing that on upkeep because it made so Brittany couldn't Searing Blaze, Autumn, and the Fulminator Mage, because even if the Fulminator had been sacked, Autumn would have still taken 3.
That's correct. 2 different targets and therefore resolves kind of weirdly. It's like there's random things. It's kind of why you sack like Sakura Tribe Scout. No, Sakura Tribe Elder at sorcery speed, and you just like save yourself before they get priority. But random modern tidbits.
Modern has so many of those little things that's what people say when they talk about deck mastery. Just knowing that you're supposed to immediately sacrifice your Sakura Tribe Elder against burn is so huge.
Yeah. And even just like when they talk about like deck mastery and also deck like format experience, it's knowing that kind of stuff. I think we're gonna lose a Path to Exile. This Raging Ravine is just gonna get out of hand here.
It rages.
It rages and it ravines, and
I don't think this game's over there. It's what, 4 + 5 + 6? So technically she could draw just 3 lava spikes in a row. Or is that a turn short?
Doesn't really. I mean, even if she draws a fetch land, that's still pretty good, because she can just like fetch in their turn and just 3 the Raging Ravine even just for 3 damage. So
Sure.
Yeah, we have some outs to just drawing blanks here, depending on exactly what that blank is. The Liliana reasonably is about to ultimate though, and I don't really know what Autumn plans on doing with that. But if the lands get split 1 and 1, this game gets a little more interesting. We drew a fetch land. That's step 1. But yeah, this
Autumn knows that it's the Searing Blaze. Yeah.
Oh.
So I have good news, and I have good news.
Hit me with the good news.
All right. The first good news is it appears this Raging Ravine is going to rage.
Yep.
The other good news is that Jund is likely going to win game 2. You know,
so what
silver
I'm getting
linings on bright clouds.
Yeah, it's the brightest of clouds, I guess. Team's losing though. We should make Autumn gain a life and just Hidetsugu second right.
Ooh,
no one ever plays to these outs.
I cannot believe you know Hidetsugu's second right, and you needed Oracle text on modern staple delirium schemes.
I definitely tried to make second right work in way too many Blue Moon decks. I'm not really willing to talk about it at this point.
You know, they could just like, never mind. You're off it. You've learned from your mistakes. Who am I?
You're Emma. That's your name. You're Emma. But
Thanks. I
I've
picked it out
definitely not learned
myself.
from my mistakes. If you dropped a Blue Moon deck in front of me, I'd be like, "Can we second right our opponent?" And you'd be like, "No," and I'd be like, "But maybe."
This is nice. Now I know that if we end up getting paired in Barcelona, I'll just be like, "Look, Jess, Blood Moon, Cryptic Command, and Hidetsugu's second right."
I guess that's a pile you could register. It's your choice. This game is happening, and I would love to have more to say about it, but this is what we call is it a landslide? I'm not really familiar with American euphemisms. I apologize.
A ravine slide, if you will.
It's a raging landslide. So I think we're gonna get a game 3 here. Sadly, it's like I'm right, but I didn't really want to be right.
Y'all were on the play for it.
We are on the play, and I think that is quite a big advantage. Being able to get our 1-drop out before that turn 1 disruption is really important, because it is your recursive damage, and that's just really important in this kind of matchup. We did see the Ren and 6s come out. The Chandra, I think we're chopping 1 and 1, which I like.
Yeah, and we see the other Goblin Guides come back on Brittany's side, her kind of going, all right, these are definitely worth a point now. Let's do it. Well, 2 points, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, the Colligan's command was also kept in, which is interesting, but also very fine.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to leave cards in your deck, unfortunately.
It's almost like you need a minimum of 60 or something. I don't know where I heard that from.
Yeah, it's this whole numbers game. It's this whole thing that they, I don't know. You'd have to have been there, I guess.
Yeah, before my time, I guess. All right, let's have a look at some hands. Handy. Three lands is pretty heavy from MTG Nerd Girl, but I think this hand is, I'm going to say fine. I'm not going to love my choice of words, but I would probably keep this.
Yeah, it has 13 damage, and against Jund, you only really need to deal about 17, so I think this hand's like a snap keep.
Autumn has this like really cool curve of like Swamp Inquisition into Tarmogoyf, and I think they just drew Liliana. No third land or red source, but there's definitely very many draw steps to get there, and it should definitely be fine.
I've seen this curve a few times.
I don't know. I think as long as we don't draw like any more lands ever in the history of this game, we should be fine.
What if you just spend your next 4 draw steps on Searing Blazes?
I would not cry because I'm too emotionally stable for that, but I'd be really close to crying.
I feel like most emotionally stable people don't have to say they're emotionally stable.
I feel called out here, but you're probably right. Anyway, so we're going to see like Lava Spike and to skewer the critics here, and Emma is quite the critic. So Yeah,
I'm not taking that
Say
bait.
something.
I'm not taking that bait.
All right, Autumn is on 11 and a hypothetical 8. So
I think I would have liked the Rift Bolt more than the Lava Spike there.
So go on.
I guess you could hard cast the Rift Bolt anyway, but the immediacy of Lava Spike being able to just get cast is a lot.
But it turned on Skewer the critics, didn't it?
Oh, Rift Bolt on
The Rift Bolt came off that upkeep. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that. It's a 2/2.
You'd love to see it.
I'm the only one excited about this Goblin Guide, so that's fine, I guess.
She hasn't drawn a land, so I don't think you're allowed to complain yet.
I'm never complaining. I think that as long as everyone is having like a good time and they don't draw 18 lands like I did in maybe one of my games, it's totally fine.
Look, you got Okay, I drew 3 Vengevines and you drew 18 lands. Like, who's the real victim here?
Me, it's still me.
Yeah, okay, yeah, actually, yeah, I see that.
Yeah, me too.
Hmm.
Me too. I see it like every day.
I guess I could have thought about that better.
Ooh, look, a red source. And a 3rd land. I might actually cry soon.
It's very awkward that this scavenging ooze just cannot gain life at all.
I mean, it's probably going to gain life if Autumn fetches like a stomping ground.
They're destroying creatures in the graveyard.
This goblin guide is not long for life. Let's be honest.
I actually kind of like how Nerd Girl's sandbagging it here, though.
I mean, I'm not saying that Autumn is dead, but they're real close.
Stop drawing spells off the top.
Lightning bolt off the top. Don't fetch so that you can trigger your. Oh no. That's too much.
So close.
We needed that goblin guide to stay in hand.
I mean, is this just gonna come down to a top deck?
Are you saying that John can win top deck wars?
I'm trying to think of the way you could possibly win this game that isn't just flooding. Because I think it just takes. So if Autumn rips the basic forest, oh, no doubt. That's kind of like a basic forest.
I mean, it's 1 mana basic forest, right?
It does not cost life when it enters the battlefield, and it says land on it. Beggars can't be choosers. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I just think you could make better choices, you know.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Scavenging ooze, hold up lightning bolt.
So maybe if you cycle Baron more, draw Inquisition yourself, pin Brittany, and then she fetch shocks.
I agree with
some reason and bolt her in response.
Cycling here to draw the basic forest is like the god line, but
there's just not much you're doing with the black mana anyway.
I mean, better than nothing.
I'll give you that. I do really like Nerd Girl holding this fetch land up to keep Searing Blaze turned on.
I agree with you.
Though if we're lucky, she'll draw Searing Blood instead.
All right, lightning bolt off the top. It's been a while. Yeah.
Blarg!
Don't cast it for double strike. Your permanents do not need to be indestructible.
Studies show that it really do be like that sometimes.
It was definitely like that.
You don't think it does, but it do.
It was like that. And I'm not sorry.
All right. So that one is going to go to MTG Nerd Girl and the stream team in 3 with a timely top deck Boros Charm at the last possible second, facing down like double lethal or something in a scavenging ooze.
It was beautiful. It
Right
was
down to the wire. Yeah, Brittany was able to pull it out. That was a really good game. It was really tight.
Yeah.
Both decks kind of
awesome.
got to do their thing.
Yeah. More importantly, though, I think from the Jund perspective, I think Autumn played excellently because I think that there are so many people that could have lost that game much earlier, and they played spectacularly, which was nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Autumn's incredible, and I look forward to hopefully seeing them again. It's best of 7, right?
It is.
Okay, yeah, so we are definitely at least seeing them one more time, but after this, we are going to be saying Chantel on Dredge versus...
I'm going to have to look this up, I'm sorry. But
It's April.
Is it me again? It can't be me again.
Oh, is it you again? I hope it's
Match
not you
4.
again.
Yeah, it's me. It's Chantel on Neoform versus me on Snowshift.
Ooh, so Chantel Campbell on Neobrand versus Jessica Estefan on Snowshift. So we will see you back over and over and over, I guess. So if you love Estefan, love Neobrand, love Chantel, or anyone else really on this thing, make sure and stick around. We're gonna have a bunch of great games on Modern. We'll see you soon.
CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
Awesome. Welcome back, everyone, to Team Modern Super League. We're just about to enter round 4. We have the Scary Terrys, me, Emma, Jess. Me, Emma, and Chantal facing the stream team. So how do you feel about that match?
Well, I mean, of the 6 of us, I'm definitely the least experienced Modern player of the group. So, I mean, I was pretty nervous all along, but I mean, it's Burn, so I kind of got the easier deck to pilot, so not too bad.
I know I played a bunch of Jund, and the Jund versus Burn matchup can often be really tense because you just get in those situations where like you force the Burn player into top deck mode and you just have to cross your fingers.
You did a really good job at that. Thankfully, I was able to cross my fingers a little harder than you, and get one for the stream team. I'm excited. I would like to say that was our third match we've played.
Mm-hmm.
That was our best of 3. Pretty excited.
Yeah, it's currently it is 2-1 to the stream team, so my team gotta pull it back. Rooting for Chantal in the next one. So our next match we have Neobrand versus Snowshift. Are you familiar with either of these decks at all?
Some, but again, I don't have as much experience with Modern, so I've been taking a look at the deck lists and kind of checking them out, but I'm interested to learn more.
Cool. Well, for the audience, Neobrand, like fairly known quantity. It's trying to get turn 1 or turn 2 kills by getting a fast Grizzlebrand into play and drawing its deck. The less well-known deck, it's a really exciting one that's like emerged in the last week or so. It's called Snowshift. It's a Bring to Light deck, Scapeshift deck, and a Snow deck all in one. It's like really wild.
It seemed like it had a lot of things going on for sure.
Mm-hmm. So it's pretty exciting that the Bring to Light Scapeshift decks have like kind of been low-key a thing in Modern for a little while, but like never quite good enough. And Iceman Coatl is like a really big improvement to the deck because it just gives you that early defense you need to survive the first few turns. Do you have any expectations on like how you think this matchup should be for the two decks?
Well, with the Snow deck, I mean, it's probably of all of the 10 decks we brought, it's the one that I've seen the least of. So I'm just really excited to see what it can do.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it too. I played a few matches of it this week, but I haven't really seen it in action like that much. Bring to Light's a pretty wild card because you get to play all these toolbox cards you can go 2 to 4. I think I'm like, I believe Neobrand should probably be favored, but I'm not entirely sure. Like the Snowshift deck kills fairly slowly, and it only has it doesn't have like that much interaction with the combo. It has like remons that are pretty good. And out of the board, it has these force of negations, which are incredible. But like, you really have to draw some interaction to slow down the fast kills. So I'm pretty excited to see how this plays out.
Hopefully, you can't draw that interaction, and it'll all be good.
Oh my gosh, I was so excited. When Chantal joined the team, I was like half expecting her to want to play Grizzlebrand this week, just like one of her pet decks. I messaged her saying maybe might be a good idea to like maybe play a Grizzlebrand deck to mix things up, and because that's something like Emma might enjoy playing too. And then she just responded, "Sure, let's play Neobrand." It's like, oh my gosh.
You guys have some really cool lists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to be playing in my first Modern tournament, so I'm excited.
Ooh. Was that a voice from above? Are we going down to the match? Cool. We're going down to the match. Let's do this. All right. Jessica's side, her hand is fairly slow. It doesn't have like any ramp spells or like. I guess the path is like okay-ish interaction to get a Grizzlebrand off the table. Chantal is mulliganing. This hand seems really unimpressive from Chantal. However, it only needs. It's tough because it needed like a Neoform or an Eldritch Evolution, but also she'd have been exiling like 2 shoals, which is awkward. This hand seems good.
So Chantal's down to 5 and Jess is down to 6.
Yeah. So I think Chantal's going to keep this and put away the Spirit Guide and the Grizzlebrand. And she needs to find a green card for the turn 2 kill. So she's really crossing her fingers that there's a green card on top of the library so she can cast this Allosaurus Rider. So Jess has a fairly slow start, but obviously Chantal could stumble here, or she could draw a green card. That's also great.
Yikes.
It's actually pretty awkward. Chantal, if she wants to cast this Allosaurus Rider, has to exile 2 Disrupting Shoals, which means when she's drawing through the deck, so the idea is use Disrupting Shoal to gain life, so that you can draw more cards of Grizzlebrand, so that you can draw more Disrupting Shoals to gain more life, so that you can draw more cards of Grizzlebrand. But if she gets rid of 2 Disrupting Shoals, it might be hard to draw enough of her deck to kill Jess. So she actually has like pretty tough decision on whether to go for it. She is deciding to jam and just like cross her fingers that she can get there. She's going to see at least 14 cards of a Grizzlebrand before she has to stop. I'll just put Grizzlebrand in play and say go. That's a good line from Randy. I guess if Jess doesn't have one of the paths, she just can't actually kill the Grizzlebrand. And if Jess does draw a path to answer this Grizzlebrand, Chantal can still just draw some cards. So Chantal's going to play this patiently. And just try and get in that hit with Grizzlebrand, because every hit with Grizzlebrand is another 7 cards off the top with the ability.
Modern is a crazy place.
It is. Neobrand is like honestly one of the crazier decks in the format. Just the fact it can like kill people on turn 2 or even turn 1 is
This is
really
after a roll to 5. That's impressive. Yeah.
Like, there's a very real chance Chantal could just kill Jess this turn. Once she gets in this attack. Oh, the Quetzal doesn't have Death Touch because there aren't snow lands in play. Otherwise, Jess could ambush the Grizzlebrand. But Grizzlebrand gets to hit.
Oh man, hate to see it.
Alright. Chantal is going to keep playing it patiently. Figures that she's under no pressure, I guess. And just keep heading in until she's forced to try and kill. Especially with the extra 8 life next turn, I think she's like close to guaranteed to be able to draw the entire deck. Need like things to go really weirdly to not be able to do that. Alright. So we see the snake chomp. Buy just some life. I assume, yeah, Chantal's gonna try and kill now. So she hasn't found a shoal. So the big pinch point here is she only has 2 disrupting shoals. Sorry, not disrupting shoals, nourishing shoals in her deck. So if she can find a nourishing shoal, she can probably just draw her entire deck this turn. But if they're on like the bottom 10 cards of her library or whatever, she won't be able to do that. So it's really dependent on if she can find a shoal. She hasn't actually done yet. She also try and make sure she doesn't die to like 2 lightning bolts. Since Jess is like so far behind here, there's probably not a need to take too many risks. Yeah, she exiled 2 Nourishing Shoals to the Allosaurus, which is like a big part of the awkwardness here. Could see a remand on the Allosaurus Rider. I think the remand is meant to be saved for like a lightning storm. Though, because it's really hard to cast Lightning Storm in this deck, you only have like 4 Spirit Guides and Manamorphose to help with it. And like, now that there's a Grizzlebrand in play, the Allosaurus Riders don't do much.
This deck has a lot going on.
Yeah, it's really weird. It wasn't actually a thing. The Neoform was printed and people were like, this is kind of cool, but probably not consistent enough. And then the London Mulligan happened and people were like, oh.
Yep.
Just having that London Mulligan lets you
Mull very
mulligan
aggressively
really
to 5 and then still kill people on 2.
Mm-hmm.
Seems good. How much more consistent do you think it makes it? Obviously not playable to very playable, but like,
yes.
how often are you going down to 5? I guess.
So Pascal Fierin actually put out some stats on this. I don't have them to hand, but I think he was like keeping about half his hands. I can actually get up the stats because they're really fascinating. But it has like all the stats on how often you should be turn oneing, how often you're mulliganing. So whilst Chantal does her thing, just go take a look. So yeah, so Pascal Bieran, who's like really, really good player.
Yeah.
He reckons you mulligan, you keep your 7 about 47% of the time. And then of those, you can like turn 1 9% of the time, turn 2 20% of the time, and turn 3 8% of the time. And then you like mold to 6. You stay on 6 28% of the time, and then you go down to 5 15%. And then even on like the 5, you can still like, you know, turn 1 or turn 2 a bunch.
Yeah.
It's
keeping your 7 seems over 40% seems much better than I was expecting, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the deck is actually much more consistent than people think. Especially with the London Mulligan, the fact that like you don't even get punished for the times you do have the Mulligan as well.
Yeah, as we just saw, right?
Mm-hmm. So I think, yeah, Jess is going to bring in some Force of Negations to just have that protection. Even on turn 1, she can have that up and be safe. Nadobin's Veto is another counterspell. We're seeing Chantal brought in some Force of Negations. The idea being that she can fight over Jess's counter magic. It's like a little bit scary because if you Force of Negation, you're like forced to kill that turn. Otherwise, if you Pact of Negation, rather, you're forced to kill that turn. Otherwise, the Pact trigger will kill you next turn. Mm-hmm. So she has to be a bit careful with them, but they can be very good for forcing through a kill. Even through Jess's interaction.
Uh-oh, looks like we lost Jess.
Yep. Come back, Jess. We need you.
She'll be back in time to runner this, don't worry.
Mm-hmm. She just had to step away from the stream a moment to go find some more Pact of Negations. Alright, Chantal just figuring out what cards to cut here, trimming a few of like the flex slots that aren't super important to the deck.
The deck has so many different things going on. I feel like it's super flexible based on like in the boarding, right?
Yeah, so you have like these core combo pieces you can't really touch, but then you have like a bunch of flex slots, like all of which do little extra things but aren't super important. So a lot of the sideboarding is just like trimming down on those pieces and like taking it down to more bare bones and just like focusing in more so that you can make room for sideboard cards.
Makes sense.
Chantal's hand looks decent. She has the Serum Visions to help find the pieces she's missing, and then she should be able to kill pretty quickly. But Jess has this Force of Negation that is going to be completely incredible. It's the best card she can possibly have in the matchup. So, it's looking... Oh, she did mull to 5 to find it, though.
I don't know if she did. I think we're missing a card off the side because it was slightly shown and now it's not. I'm pretty sure we got one card hidden there.
All right, that makes sense.
We don't?
Oh, she did mull to 5. Okay. So good news for Chantal. She found a Pact of Negation. So now she can actually fight over the Force of Negation. If she gets involved in that fight, it does mean she has to kill that turn. But interesting. I am not entirely sure what is happening here. Allosaurus Rider, can she actually Neoform this turn, though? Yeah. This is slightly awkward.
But the Pact was cast.
Mm-hmm.
I keep switching back between the live feed, but it's small enough I can't see the cards, and then the like stream, so because it's a little bit bigger. So I'm piecing it together. I think Miss.
Yeah, so I think what happened was she got like a bit excited that she had all the pieces now, but she didn't have the mana to actually go for the kill there.
Okay.
And casting the Pact meant she was just going to die the next turn.
She thought she had it.
Yeah. Yeah, she probably just got a bit excited. Happens to all of us.
She's lulling us into a false sense of security, giving us hope.
All right.
Oh man, that does.
Chantal is back on the play. This hand seems very bad. Both their hands seem very bad, honestly. I guess they're both going to 6. They both need more lands. Chantal's hand is close. It needs an Allosaurus Rider or a Pact. She has like a Manamorphose that can help dig, though. Unfortunately, Jess has the Pact of Negation, so she's really safe here. Although Jess's hand doesn't really do much other than cast Pact of Negation of note. She can't actually cast any of her green spells. So, she's really in on this Pact of Negation being great. Which it probably will be.
It seems like it's the card you need in the matchup, but it is definitely tough if it's the only thing you can do.
Mm-hmm. These Chancellors are going to make some mana. Chantal can immediately cycle this Manamorphose, just looking for the Allosaurus Rider. It's almost bad for her if she finds the Allosaurus Rider, though, because of the Force of Negation. Chantal actually doesn't know this, but she needs to find a Pact of Negation before she finds the Allosaurus Rider. Otherwise, she's going to run headfirst into the Force of Negation.
So that means we have to hope she uses her one time on the Allosaur, right? Let's go, stream team.
All right. So Chantal can cycle this waterlogged grove, so it is a redraw. But I think this is going to be pretty hard for her, especially now Jess can have Remand plus Force of Negation open. Now that she's drawn a Teferi, she can exile to the Force, which means that Jess is super well protected. Remand is so good against a card like Neoform as well, because you have to sack the creature as part of the cost of Neoform.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, can this Wild Cantor get there? 19 more turns.
We're on a clock.
Come on, Wild Cantor, I believe in you.
For the time being, we're not doing much about it.
Alright, 18 turns.
So the deck does one of two things: kills you on turn 2, or puts you on a 20-turn clock.
Mm-hmm. This is what the Wild Cantor is actually in the deck for. People don't realize this. They come up with all these like fancy reasons it's in the deck. No, it's for the 20-turn clock. Alright. 17 life. So close.
Green source.
This is honestly just the truest game of Modern I've ever seen.
We did shorten your clock a little bit, but...
Wow. Just like cast 2 time walks for us. So OP. Alright. Sadly, the Sakura Tribe gets to block here and then prevent whole damage. There's no coming back from this. Cloudcast Chancellor. What's the actual mana cost on a Chancellor? What can you Neoform the Wild Cantor into? Need a Growth Chamber Guardian. Go fetch that, get it for the counter on it, immediately fetch another Growth Chamber Guardian off it.
Having this game in game 3 is way more suspenseful than the first 2 like explosive games.
I don't know, I don't think Chantel's gonna get there.
It's a lot of pieces. We have a lot of counter magic now.
Mm-hmm. Like, any one of these counter spells would be really hard to beat. Instead, Jess has 4 of them. It's like Jess has just like won 4 games. Alright, well, we get to cast this Allosaurus Rider and run headfirst into a million things. Mm-hmm.
mean, I feel actually kind of terrible. This is looking at Jess's hand. It's man, and it was locked up. Like, I know I'm on the stream team, but
This is what you sign up for when you play Neoform. Sometimes your opponents have Force of Negation, and there's just nothing you can do. Like, if you're going to register the turn 1 kill deck, you have to accept that you're going to lose in awkward fashion sometimes.
that's fair.
Yike. Alright. So, Chantal has no cards in hand, but I believe she can get there. She just needs to draw the combo twice over to get past this Force of Negation.
Piece of cake.
The worst thing is, Chantal can't even commit honorable, can't even take on an honorable death by Pact of Negationing a spell because of this Teferi. So heartbreaking.
Teferi ruining everybody's fun yet again.
Mm-hmm. It's all Teferi was made to do. Every Teferi. It's like
I'm not even entirely convinced that the people who play him have fun.
I wonder about that sometimes too. It's actually kind of impressive how like all 3 iterations of Teferi successfully ruin the opponent's day and just like suck fun out of the universe. They've really kept up that tradition very well.
Yeah, you gotta keep with the flavor.
Mm-hmm. Alright. So it's looking like our team needs to win 3 in a row. It's a heck of a thing. So the next matchup is going to be Snow Shift against Skele-Mental deck. I'm pretty scared of that matchup, honestly. Seems like the Skele-Mental deck is well set up to tear Snow Shift's hand apart.
I'm excited to see the Skele-Mental deck myself.
This seems sweet. Alright. Jess can actually cast Escape Shift at instant speed. So I hope we're going to see an upkeep Escape Shift here. For the good old end of your turn Escape Shift. So, of course, Escape Shift. Jess is going to go find a Valakut, and then 6 mountains. And burn Chantal to the ground. Honestly, she might find both Valakuts because... Oh no, Chantal can't even cast a Nourishing Shore at the moment because of Teferi. But, like, finding both Valakuts means you get to show off, which is nice. Has value. Yeah, the volcano explodes in Chantal's face. Alright, well.
That's one way to end the game, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Seems like we're in a rough place. Our
so you gotta run it back the next 3 rounds?
Mm-hmm. We definitely have at least one more match with me playing against April. I'm on Snow Shift. April will be on Red-Black Skele-Mentals. And then we'll see how that goes as to how the rest of the night goes. Or will we have any more matches afterwards?
Win or lose, I'm just excited to see the Skele-Mental deck. in action for sure. But I mean, you guys have some great players and some great lists. So if you guys can run it back 3 matches, I think you guys could.
The Skele-Mental is. Oh, I think we are going to go to ads now. So we'll see you next round.
Bye, guys.
CoolStuffInc.com is your home for everything Magic the Gathering. Need singles for constructed or kitchen table play? Looking to pick up some sealed product or the latest in Magic accessories? We've got you covered with our extensive live inventory. With free shipping on orders of $100 or more, a 25% buy list bonus, and our ever-popular customer rewards program, CoolStuffInc.com is the place for all your Magic the Gathering needs.
Oh my goodness, Jess, what a game. What a match. I feel like you have no idea what happened game 2.
I'm not gonna lie, I have zero idea what happened, and I would love for you to tell me.
I definitely just punted the whole match away. Just was like, here you go. I ended up serum visioning into exactly what I needed to combo. I was like, I have a Simeon Spirit Guide in hand. I have a Manamorphose. We can go for it, forgetting that I had to use my land drop for the turn to cast the Serum Visions and was therefore 1 mana short of being able to Neoform, and then was like, oh, I'm dead on my upkeep and there's nothing I could do about it. Yeah. We'll just scoop it up. Let's just move on to the next one.
If it makes you feel a little better, I did have a Force of Negation in hand, and I was going to try and let you die to your Summoner's Pact. So.
Well, I died to my Summoner's Pact either way.
You died to something. We don't have to talk about it anymore.
That's fine. It's totally fine. I'm just hoping that Autumn can avenge me here. I don't know who you're going to be rooting for because Autumn's playing Snow Shift, but your teammate is playing Black-Red Skele-Mental.
Yeah, I'm 100% rooting for my teammate. I have no allegiance to any deck. I just like it when it deals damage to my opponent's face. Sorry. Not really sorry, but April is going to win this one, and I am really excited. And I've been hyping up my team all day, and I'm excited that everyone's kind of just having fun, at least on my side. Hopefully,
definitely having fun. I appreciated waking up to your trash talk this morning.
Yeah, I've been I've been sending trash talk gifts to everyone. It's equal. I want to trash on everyone equally.
You're an equal opportunity trash talker.
Trashist. Yes.
Trashist, yes.
A trashist.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So the matchup that we're looking at, as you said, I think it's Snow Shift versus Red Black Skele-Mental. How do you think this is gonna go?
I think the Snow Shift deck will need to find some of that early counter magic that you saw a bit of to deal with the Skele-Mental menace. I'm hoping that it's not too much hand disruption and that we can fight through it, or that you're not able, or the black-red Skele-Mental deck might not be able to assemble a fast enough kill and we can get some lands on the board.
Yep. I think that that Snow Shift has a lot of random. I think it's got a random ability to just kind of take over the game. But I do agree that April's Skele-Mental deck, the combination of just having them like 4 mainboard Thoughtseize, 4 mainboard Inquisition of Kozilek, it's going to hurt the combo side of Autumn's game plan.
Yes, I agree. But if we can get a Teferi online, maybe do a little bit of damage.
Locking down our Arcanist isn't fun. I haven't played this particular Teferi versus Arcanist in Modern, but I have played some in Standard, and it's not fun.
No, it is not fun. I've played some in Legacy, so it's worse.
Formats. I like that before we started, we were like, how do you think this matchup goes? And it's really hard to tell. This is a brand new format, and while I'm really excited to dive in, it means that unfortunately I have not tested the red-black Skele-Mental versus the 4-color Snow Shift deck. I'm really sorry to anyone who's watching out here. I know.
You mean you're not an expert in red-black Skele-Mental versus Snow Shift? Not yet.
Not. Unfortunately,
not yet.
Maybe next week. But for now, no. So, I think that I predicted this when I was commentating with Emma earlier, that Burn would win game 1, Jun would win game 2, and Burn would have an edge in game 3 just by virtue of being on the play. In this one, I'm going to predict that April takes down game 1 and game 2, but I'm not sure if I'm being biased here.
I feel like there's a little bit of bias here. I'm just saying.
All right, Autumn can win game 1, and then April can win games 2 and 3. We can even this up.
Well, I'll agree that I think Autumn can win game 1.
Well, that's a good start. If the stream team, aka the Dream Team, wins this round, that's it for the night. So maybe we lose and we stretch out this action, which I'm kind of trying.
We just want to play more games of Magic. We should make this go to 7. 7 at least.
I like 7 games of Magic. I like round 7s. I'm not very good at winning them, but they're decent. They're decent. But yeah, I'm looking forward to either a very short or a much longer night of Magic.
Much longer.
Much longer.
I'm looking at like at least 7 matches.
At least 7
now.
matches. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's gonna happen. But
I'm looking at sideboards, and I don't know if Snow Shift has a ton to go down. Oh, we just got word players are ready, so we're gonna jump down and check it out for ourselves, I guess. Looks like Autumn has a little bit of a slower hand. I think they just mulled there.
Yeah. It also looks like Autumn is probably on the draw, and against the hand that April is presenting, where they have the disruption into action, the removal obviously not being super effective here is probably going to be a pretty strong start, especially against the mulligan. Really interesting to see how Autumn's list differentiates from the Snow Shift list that I registered just with the main board Jace, and I saw a couple of other differences in there as well.
Yeah, I think winning the die roll would have been really beneficial.
I agree.
We'll see how this plays out.
So we're gonna likely see the Inquisition here. In that 6-card hand, do you like taking the Sakura Tribes Elder or the Kotal, the Ice thing?
In April's position, I think taking the Elder and stopping ramp, especially with an answer in Lightning Bolt in your hand to the Quaddle, because April doesn't. She only has the Pyromancer as a threat to present on the board right now. It looks like.
Okay. I also would have taken the Sakura Tribe Elder just because again, being able to block that game plan is probably the way that you're most likely to want to attack this. But I like April's hand. I think this I especially like her using the Sunbaked Canyon here and leaving black up for a Thoughtseize or Inquisition effect. Obviously preferring a Thoughtseize here. But neither is also okay. Being able to loot away this Fatal Push that isn't really doing much and probably a Lightning Bolt is also going to be pretty good.
Yeah, no doubt. And she draws, is that an Unearth?
Yes. So we're going to
Newly
unearth
modern
a
legal?
Seasoned Pyromancer.
Yes, we are. You get to pitch that looting.
Yep.
Draw into the Skele-Mental. The dex needs.
Skele-Mental. We get the namesake in our hand, and we're kind of just seeing how easily the red-black deck being on the play is able to punish just any kind of slow starting deck. I think even if Autumn had been able to get the Sakura Tribe Elder into play this turn, it wasn't making that much of a difference to what April's kind of doing over there.
Yeah, it's looking like she's gonna be presenting a bit of a faster clock, I think.
Yeah. The Engineered Explosives is going to be like good at cleaning up any like seasoned Pyromancer tokens, which is not irrelevant. But Autumn is about to discard 2 cards as long as this Skele-Mental, sticks and connects.
Yeah, that trample's real good.
Yeah, it's a really good ball lightning. I haven't been able to stop talking about this, but the one of the times I got Skele-Mental on Magic Online, I got to discard 2 Arclight Phoenixes, and I was really cool. That was awesome.
Autumn fetching for a snow-covered land here does mean that her Quaddle gets Death Touch, so she can profitably block off that Pyromancer there.
It doesn't get Death Touch, I believe, unless you control 3 snow-covered.
3? I thought it was only 1. I was like, damn, that's a good card.
It was a really good card.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Here
it
can
it can block a token. In our game 1, actually, if it had been one other snow permanent, I might have been able to give my Quaddles Death Touch eventually. But
oh yeah, I was eyeing up those non-basic lands you had out, and I was like,
and I was like, oh, this is a really nice Cinderglade. Give me some more of this. All right, Autumn now has to discard 2 cards, and I think the only card I'm set on discarding is like a Snapcaster. And then I don't know how effective the Engineered Explosive is just on this board. It's going to clean up tokens, but beyond that, it doesn't seem like it's enough.
Might consider discarding it, and she does. They do. My apologies.
Yeah, so making land drops in the face of losing the ramp spell is going to be important. That being said, I really don't know what we're looking to do here in Autumn Sea, what we're looking to draw, basically. I don't think the land is it, but I think it's possible they have one more draw step.
Next turn they can cast
Unearth the Skele-Mental.
Oh, Unearth is a great draw there. I was going to say next turn they can bring to light to attempt to find one of the toolbox answers from their deck.
This is interesting.
Okay.
Combo kills.
Yep, that's real good.
I think being on the draw would have benefited Autumn, and I think like a stronger start in terms of what they were doing with their mana and their fetching would have been a lot more helpful here. But let's take a look at some sideboards.
Yeah, I think Autumn's hand was definitely on the slower side, but I do think boarding that they get a bit more early game interaction. When we get to see the sideboards.
No, we don't get to see sideboards. We're gonna have to guess.
Mystery boards is a whole other fun game. Okay, it looks like on Autumn's side they're bringing in the Huntmaster of the Fells, and considering rest in pieces.
They've also got the Obstinate Bailiff, the Timely Reinforcements, the Celestial Purge, and the Anger of the Gods sitting in that sideboard pile.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Your eyes are better than mine.
It's because I'm wearing lenses.
Oh, smart. And then April's bringing in Fulminator Mages, which makes sense given Autumn's land-centric strategy. I don't know.
I make this comment every time I'm commentating over any kind of Super League, but it'd be nice to see the sideboard and not just have mono like 2 and 4 drops just lumped together. Like, sort by color on Moto, right?
You got some fries. You got some crumble to dust. Got some Leyline of the Voids.
Leyline of the Void not super good on this one. I think we're also cutting some Pyromancers.
Yeah, it looks like it for those Fulminator Mages, but I don't think Autumn's making I don't think April's making a ton of changes here. Just continuing to be fast and force Autumn to be reactive.
I like that game plan. I think forcing Autumn to do something, which is a very bland statement, I understand. But at the end of the day, April is just she's just playing out her cards, and it's up to Autumn to be able to answer that, stay alive, and also deliver their own game plan in the same full sweep.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think that's one of the taxing things about playing something like a Snow Shift deck is you need answers. You need enough cards in hand to fight through the card disadvantage of like Thoughtseize and Inquisition. You need some amount of combos that you're able to win the game at some point, and you need to stay alive through all of this. And I think that's
a tall order.
It is. It's like a lot to do, you know. Like most people, like I can't even multitask, and this deck is being asked to do 3 things at the same time. Crazy.
I believe in you.
I believed in me too, so I appreciate it. I think if we see Autumn win this one, we get a little bit more magic. But I'm rooting for April, obviously.
I got a root for Autumn. I'm sorry, not sorry.
That's fine. I completely understand. April's hand is looking super strong. Big fan of your work, April. This is great stuff. Over on Autumn's side, is this a mulligan, or am I just not seeing the full hand?
It looks like they mulliganed, and it looks like they're considering a rather reactive 6, which they've kept, and Snow-Covered Forest go.
Seeing April draw an Inquisition here would be nice, but a Liliana's definitely gonna be doing some stuff here.
I think Sakura Tribe Elder is actually exactly the draw that Autumn might be looking for. We're just trying to ramp out to enough mana for lethal Scape Shift with the Bring to Light in hand, especially with no turn 1 interaction from April's side.
Yeah, notably, Autumn is also like they're fetching the Snow-Covered basics so that when they play the Coatl, it is activated. It does have Death Touch. And we definitely saw that when they didn't play the Steam Vents tapped on turn 1, allowing them to have kind of a cheaper.
And the Snow-Covered Mountain in hand means that Coatl can trade pretty profitably. And we get the plains to complete the 4-color suite off Sakura Tribe Elder.
Yeah. Not having double green here, a little bit not great is not good English, but I'm rolling with it.
I understand I'm picking up what you're laying down.
Appreciate it. Autumn can also value Bring to Light next turn.
I like the hard cast Search to get your forest and then still hold up the Coatl. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Coatl.
But yeah, I think that's kind of the power that Bring to Light has to offer, is sometimes you're killing them and sometimes you're doing really cool things. You're gaining life, you're putting bodies into play with like the Hunt Masters and the Obstinate Balots and stuff if you do need to value do things. Getting this Skele-Mental into play is going to be
real awkward.
Yeah. The
Luckily-
Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Luckily, there's no Dreadhorde Arcanist targets in the graveyard, so there's no value there. Coatl cycles into another Coatl, which I assume will be discarded. I'm not sure if Autumn will want to keep the Bring to Light in hand to be able to run it out next turn.
I think I like keeping the Bring to Light, just because the Coatl, you can choose what you draw with Bring to Light versus a random card, the 1/1 body not being super relevant in the face of the Lightning Skele-Mental. Like the Death Touch just doesn't really do much here. What do you think Autumn will be Bring to Lighting for?
I'm excited to see what they have in their toolbox. They don't have enough mana to get that scape shift that could win the game, but I'm hoping they run it out, because that Unearth in April's hand to bring back that Lightning Skele-Mental's looking real scary.
I'm excited for this Lightning Skele-Mental to never ever die.
April's just bringing some pseudo Hogaaks of her own.
I mean, Hogaak has done enough damage tonight, I think, and in the past month. But I like the fact that the deck still exists without the kind of broken bridge combo, I guess. I very much enjoy when modern bans don't necessarily like wipe out an archetype or a deck.
No, yeah, and Autumn gets Huntmaster of the Fells. That's exciting.
It's not gonna save in the face of the Lightning Skele-Mental, but I think it was one of the better choices for them to have run, and they've also emptied their hand, so Lightning Skele-Mental just sixing.
A little less scary. Not like completely less scary, but a little bit.
Collective Brutality, sort of relevant. But I think if I'm April, I think I'm probably, well, I think she's decided to cast the Collective Brutality. I think I like casting the multiple spells. You're also guaranteed another Skele-Mental, because I think if you discard this one,
April Toon might just be being cognizant of the fact that she's at 18 life. So if Autumn goes run or land into run or Bring to Light, that's lethals with Valakut. So
I'm basically just trying to check whether April has a Thunderkin Awakener or a Dreadhorde Arcanist in their hand, because it changes the line of play. And unfortunately, my eyes are not that good. So
I believe it is an Awakener.
Yeah.
Yes. Unearthing the Arcanist to get value there.
This is going to be a great next turn. And like you said, gaining the life.
Not irrelevant. Yeah.
So Autumn's Scape Shift here wasn't going to be for enough, just because they've only got the 6 lands in play. But yeah.
But getting in for 2.
Getting in for 2.
Doing it.
Got it. This is yeah, I think this is lethal. So we hard cast a Skele-Mental, we cast the Thunderkin
Awakener.
And that is 13 damage exactly.
Wow.
A short night of magic.
That's a real good combo there.
Yeah. We thought this one ahead.
Yeah.
That was really quick.
Yeah.
That was incredibly quick.
But Skele-Mentals make quick work.
Yeah. I'm also really shocked that I was surprised that Lightning Skele-Mental was an elemental, and now I'm feeling a little silly. But
I may admit that I had the same revelation.
Okay, good. I'm glad it wasn't just me.
You're not alone. No, I don't know that the matchups lined up particularly well for us tonight. Seeing some of the A-Lily stats in chat. I feel you, chat.
Sorry, chat. I guess the stream team is taking it down tonight.
Y'all move on to the semifinals now. That's very exciting.
We're going to be playing whoever wins. No, we're going to be playing the Brew Crew. So the Brew Crew gets to have a go at us, I guess.
Let's see whose rhymes are better, Brew Crews or stream teams.
Hopefully, I mean, they can have the rhymes if we take 4 wins. And
the wins?
Willing to trade.
They'll have the rhymes. You have the wins.
Yeah, they'll end up with the record deal, but
you'll have the better record.
We'll have the Super League. The Super League win. I think that is it for tonight, though. Am I wrong?
Quarterfinals. Yes, quarterfinals start in the next case, but that is everything today. So big thank you to everyone who is tuning in, and I guess I'll tune in next week to cheer you on.
Really excited to have you on my cheer squad.
Oh,
so
sorry, not next week.
Is Mythic Championship Barcelona, and you can cheer me on there as well, I guess, Chantel. That's up to you.
I guess I can cheer you on there too.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. I think we're gonna cut to ads now and call it a night.